All right, guys, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I hope everybody enjoyed their Independence Day holiday celebrations. It was loud here, where your humble host is located. Lots of national celebrations going off all over the skies in every direction, and it was great. It was great. It reminds me of the movie The Sandlot. One of the great scenes in Americana history is the movie Sandlot, where they're all kind of coming out on the 4th of July and you see the fireworks in the background and there's people everywhere. That's what I love that. I love the community. I love how we all get together and we settle on like we're all going to do this. Even things like the Super Bowl, if I don't even really care for it, I love that everybody's kind of doing the same thing on the same day. It's nice. It's nice. But welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. We have a lot to talk about. For example, we're going to talk about the first 48, Erika's version of the first 48 hours, and ask ourselves, when did she have time to decide to hit the road? Well, we'll figure that out. We're also I'm going to open today with this Tucker Carlson third party pitch and kind of give you just a little bit of my thoughts on it. Nothing definitive, but sort of where I'm thinking at this time that effort might end up. And then if we have time, and I think we will, I want to talk about these attacks on Candace Owens being led by something called the National Contagion Research Institute. There's going to be some articles coming up either tonight or tomorrow, it looks like, from various news publications. And they all seem to be, originating from the same organization, this NCRI. Who is that? Where do they get their money? What do they normally do? And why are they harassing Candace Owens? And is there anything to this timing? Does it have to do with Shawn Ryan, or is there something more sinister at play? I suggest the latter when we get into it. I think it's something much more sinister. The timing might just be coincidental. So we'll get to all that and more over the course of the night. Settle in, kick your feet up if you're not driving. If you're driving, don't kick your feet up. Keep your hands 10 and 2 on the road. Don't look at the screen. Go straight ahead. But if you're lounging, and a lot of you lounge when you watch the program, by all means, relax. Enjoy yourself. We may have a slightly smaller than normal crowd tonight, so it'll be a little more intimate. Why? It's a holiday. That's what happens on holidays. But fear not. Fear not. We're here. Well, it's a holiday weekend, July 5th. Oh, my gosh. Luckily, I have some goat water. Somebody emailed me complaining because they used to order goat water on Amazon, and it's sold out now. And they were like, I can't get my goat water. And I think you've turned everybody on to goat water. Well, I apologize. I just happen to think it's delicious. Okay. Let me start plowing through this because tonight is going to be kind of fast moving. So if you got a pen and paper, you're going to need it. If you got a pencil, you're going to need a sharpener because we got a lot of notes to take tonight. If you're going to keep up, as sometimes happens. Haters, welcome in. We know you guys like to hate watch. That's okay. Rage watching is fine. I permit it. There's a reason no one's watching you, and that's okay. We get more people watching our intro 2 hours before we put the show up than some of these shows get at their peak. I'm talking about you, Charlie Kirk's show. So just dial it in, sit back, kick your feet up, Blake, Andrew. You're going to love it. You're going to love the program. But I do want to get into the open relatively quickly because it is not short. And it is, I think, not influential. I think it's important on an influential topic, a very important and influential topic. And I don't want my thoughts to get lost in the fray. I don't want them, like a week from now, go, I never talked about Tucker's third party bid, because I think it's important. Because for better or worse, Tucker Carlson, whether you like him or not, he is one of the most influential conservative media figures in modern American politics. I remember when Rush Limbaugh passed away thinking, who will be the heir apparent to Rush Limbaugh? He was sort of the heartbeat of the right, the mainstream right. He was sort of the heartbeat of it. And I tried to think of people who might be eligible for that crown. I don't know that I thought of Tucker Carlson at the time, to be honest with you. I don't know that I thought of him because he was just sort of a Fox News guy. Well, if you go all the way back, he was born in California back in 1969, and that's important. If you heard his interview with Charlie Kirk about 11 months ago, about a month before Charlie Kirk passed away, Tucker Carlson raged against baby boomers. Like he had no love lost. He said, he just crushed them. And he said basically in fourth grade, he realized he didn't like baby boomers and has hated them ever since. I don't feel the same way. Baby boomers are fine. But I understand the genesis of his frustration. He has spent decades now as a journalist, a commentator, and at least for the last several years, he's probably best known for his sharp critique of mainstream institutions, cultural issues, particularly foreign intervention. His early work was print journalism. Tucker got his start in print, not video, not radio, not audio, not video. It was print. He was a writer. He started as a fact checker, believe it or not, for Heritage Foundation's publication called Policy Review. And from there, he moved to a very strange post, if I'm being honest with you, a little paper in Arkansas called the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. And it was the early 1990s. There was a presidential candidate who was their governor. His name was Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton was there for a few years. There was a lot going on in Arkansas at the time for a budding, aspiring, I've lost my opening. A budding, inspiring, intrepid journalist. There was a lot going on in Arkansas, particularly with the Bill Clinton presidential campaign in full swing. And with obviously all of the, you had all the mean Arkansas stuff, all the allegations. There was a lot going on in Arkansas back in the early 1990s. After he left the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, he became a staff writer for a very mainstream establishment Republican conservative publication called the Weekly Standard. This was Bill Kristol's outfit. He started there back in 1995. Now, we're talking more than 30 years ago. I know when we talk the 90s, a lot of us think it was just a few years ago. We're talking more than 3 decades ago. He was there for a few years, then he transitioned to television. And that's the medium that would come to define his career. He appeared as a conservative voice. He was kind of pigeonholed as he's our token conservative on CNN's Crossfire. He was there 5 or 6 years, early 2000s. And then he switched over to MSNBC. It's like going into the den of thieves. MSNBC had a show called Tucker. And he actually, I think, probably, maybe it's because he's a little older, I think that was a better show. I remember all this. This is kind of when I was coming of age in my politics. I graduated law school in 2006, and so I was, politically minded, and I enjoyed watching this stuff. So I remember Tucker on MSNBC. And he was there until 2008, and it was a pretty good program. And then he left to join Fox News, which seemed like a more comfortable fit for him. He had always kind of espoused right-wing politics this whole time. And he got there in 2009. And he sort of middled around Fox News, never really could find his place. He was a talented guy. He was an influential voice, but he wasn't the Tucker Carlson of today. He was kind of a daytime guy. Sometimes he would be a guest on one of the evening shows. And then Bill O'Reilly got fired. This was April of 2017. This is 4 months into the Donald Trump administration. Bill O'Reilly gets fired. And Tucker was elevated to his coveted 8 p.m. Eastern time slot on Fox News. And his ascent in that time slot was nothing short of meteoric. He quickly, and I mean quickly, became must-watch television for everyone on the right. His face, he would bring on these people and he would just stare at them. And I called it tuck face. I was on the radio at the time, and I would always, it was must watch. I did not miss a Tucker Carlson show during that era. And he quickly became the highest rated cable news program, and he would draw in millions of viewers nightly. And he had a unique blend. It was populism, and it was America first, but there was enough mainstream Republicanism in there that the boomers weren't scared off. And it worked, man. It was magic. It was magic. And he was there about 6 years in that time slot. And then in April of 2023, he was unceremoniously fired from Fox News. Now, this was in the context of the Dominion voting systems lawsuit fallout, but I don't think it had much to do with the Dominion voting systems. Maybe it did, but I always kind of viewed it as really a 2-part firing. Part one, the Dominion voting systems was the excuse to get rid of Tucker Carlson in April of 2023. But what Tucker Carlson had done for the 2 years prior to that is go after Big Pharma. And it was a very gutsy decision, considering almost all advertising on cable news these days and in those days is from Big Pharma. It was a gutsy move, and it may have cost him his job. But the second thing he did was really start pushing back on American foreign policy. If you know anything about how, people get funded into elected office, it's primarily pharma and big war. Those are big pharma, big war. Those are your two big people putting everybody in office. If you go against them in either situation, they don't want to have much to do with you. And when he got fired, a lot of people thought that was the end of Tucker Carlson. Being fired from the #1 cable news show in history, in old days, prior to April of 2023, that would have buried you for good. I mean, think of Bill O'Reilly. This is the guy Tucker replaced in that 8 p.m. time slot, and he's a good example. Bill O'Reilly's still around. You'll catch him every now and then doing something, but he's just largely irrelevant, and that's not a knock on Bill O'Reilly. It's just a knock on the era in which Bill O'Reilly was ousted. April of 2017 and April of 2023, that 6-year period was a massive difference in your opportunities when you got canned. Now, when I say he's largely irrelevant, talking about O'Reilly, I'm talking about relative to his influence he had while he was on Fox. I mean, he still has a little influence. He's Bill O'Reilly, but he's not like he was. He's kind of elderly now, and he just doesn't have much of an audience. But while a lot of people were celebrating this inevitable demise of Tucker Carlson after being fired from Fox News, he launched an independent platform called the Tucker Carlson Network. And he distributed it on X, the Tucker Carlson Show. He put it on X, and he put it on his own platform. He eventually rounded it out, puts it up on Spotify and YouTube and some other major platforms. And rather than being the end of Tucker Carlson, his firing from Fox News really turned out to be something more akin to a true beginning. Maybe the best thing that ever happened to him in terms of influence and audience size. He had spent decades in cable news, but he didn't really truly find his footing, I don't feel like, until independent media. Now, his shows now routinely get millions and millions and millions of views, many, many more times more views than he ever dreamed of having on Fox News or MSNBC or CNN. He has an interview-heavy format. It differs substantially from this program. It's more like Joe Rogan, maybe not as interview-heavy as Joe Rogan. It's usually a one-on-one deal, and sometimes he'll give a 30, 45-minute, hour-long monologue ahead of time, but it's interview-heavy. And it features really high-profile figures across the political spectrum, but he also goes out and he finds interesting characters most of us have never heard of, and he elevates them by bringing them on. They're covering something interesting. He finds it interesting, and he brings them on. Not necessarily saying, I agree with everything this guy says, but this guy deserves to be part of the national audience, the national conversation. You guys should hear from this guy or gal. I'm not limiting it to a guy or gal, but he'll bring people on, and then he exposes a new line of thinking to his massive audience. Even like I said, if he doesn't 100% agree with it. And so he has these long form video podcasts, and a lot of them last for hours. I mean, hours and hours. It's why I always laugh when people are like, Baron, your show's too long. Guys, the biggest shows in podcasting, Tucker, Joe Rogan, these Shawn Ryan, I mean, these are 3 top 5 shows in all of podcasting. And they average like 3+ hours. So pardon me. And I'm not being so presumptuous to throw myself in that group, but people have a tolerance for long form podcasts. Going back to print, because when he was in print, and then when he went to cable news and now in independent media, Tucker has long been associated with conservative, and in particular, the Republican Party's brand of conservatism. Most all of his public career has been defined by defending conservative principles in Republican Party positions. And this has gone on, like I said, for decades. Now, he himself has described, or he had, I guess, I don't want to say he himself has described in this way, but I think it's fair to say he's a consistent defender of the Republican Party and has been for 3.5 decades. Like he does promote traditionalist and at times anti-establishment conservative views, but until the last couple of years, he's been solidly behind the Republican Party about anywhere they go. And his rise, this rise sort of corresponded from 2017 on with the Trump era. And it corresponded with the Trump era shift in the Republican Party towards a more populist position. Populism, I suppose, in this instance, defined by things like border security, skepticism of these endless foreign wars, opposition to woke culture, even economic nationalism, sort of economic protectionism. And Tucker was an early and prominent supporter of Donald Trump and his presidential campaigns. He even helped shape the narratives around things like immigration and corruption, and even had a heavy hand in the fact that J.D. Vance is our vice president. So it's not like Tucker's some guy screaming on the outside. No, he's a player. He's a player during this period of time. But it's in light of these decades of supporting Republicans and decades of supporting Republican Party positions that his recent discussion that he plans to help build a third party came as a pretty big shock. Just the month before, in the June of this year, he stated pretty bluntly that there's no chance he would support the Republican Party in the upcoming midterms. It was a shock. It shocked me. I know it shocked a lot of other people. But even that statement shocked many because of his deep, decades-long support for conservatism in the Republican Party. But it's one thing to say, I'm not going to vote for you. It's quite another to say, I'm going to run against you. Because for years, he was seen as one of the party's most powerful media allies. He was a voice that could rally the base. He could even influence Trump himself. His show often defended Republican Party positions and even pushed back on the neocon and establishment elements that were sort of dominating Republicanism. But he kept operating within this broadly right-wing ecosystem. And I'm not speaking for Tucker here when he talks about founding a third party or not voting for Republicans. I don't want to mistake what I'm saying here. These are not Tucker's words. I'm not putting words in his mouth. I'm not putting thoughts in his head. I'm just telling you the way I look at it. When I'm on the outside looking in, and I'm very much on the outside looking in of this discussion, his intentions seem to me to stem primarily from foreign policy disagreements, particularly over the U.S. involvement in the war in Iran. That's not it, and I'll get to some of the other ones in a second. But that's I think, the primary one. Meaning one. Primary. Only one. Tucker has been anti-war in recent years, and he repeatedly personally lobbied Trump against escalation in Iran. And he even went as far as saying he felt betrayed when the war in Iran kicked off, at least in earnest. And he struck a uniquely human tone as he's expressed pity for Trump. Not anger, not distaste, not disgust, but pity. Because he claims the president is no longer fully in control of himself and that the Republican Party, and Trump in particular, has been captured by forces that are pushing these endless conflicts. But regardless of the reason or reasons for Tucker's decision, the blunt announcement that he intends to assist a third-party effort is a significant evolution. Tucker's a longtime Republican Party defender. Publicly walking away and calling for its replacement by a new entity is a big step. And there's a little skepticism. I've heard it. I've listened to all the podcasts, all the hot takes on Tucker's announcement the last couple of days. There is skepticism that a third party could work, particularly in the United States. But for better or worse, and it's probably for worse, the U.S. has a very deeply entrenched two-party system. And third-party efforts have a pretty long, but mostly unsuccessful history. The Republican Party, actually, believe it or not, was a third party back in the 1850s. But since winning the presidency in the 1860s, it's largely become the second party, pretty much the only second party to the Democrat Party. And no third-party candidate has won the presidency since 1860. We're going on 166 years of a two-party system. And it's not that people haven't tried. One of my personal heroes, Teddy Roosevelt, he ran under the Progressive Party in 1912. He called it the Bull Moose Party because it had a bull moose for a logo. He lost the Republican nomination that year to William Howard Taft, the incumbent. And so he ran as a progressive. He ran as a third party. And he won a chunk of votes, 27.4% of the popular vote, and 88 electoral votes. It's by far the strongest third party showing in the modern era, but ultimately he lost. And because he split the Republican vote, it helped the Democrat win, Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson was a total disaster, an absolute disaster. And because of that, a lot of people have some distaste for Teddy Roosevelt. He's left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth because would Teddy have brought us the Federal Reserve, for example? I doubt it. I don't know. There was Wisconsin Senator, Robert M. La Follette, who ran under that same progressive party in 1924. He ended up about 17% of the vote, and he ran on labor rights and anti-monopoly measures and economic and military isolationism. But ultimately, he didn't win. He only got 17% of the vote. South Carolina had a senator named Strom Thurmond who was there for like 100 years. Strom Thurmond ran under the States' Rights Democratic Party in 1948, more commonly known as the Dixiecrats. His campaign focused on segregation, and it did win 4 southern states, but it was so regionally focused, it was basically irrelevant. Alabama Governor George Wallace tried something very similar in 1968. He ran under the American Independent Party. He won 5 states and 13.5% of the popular vote. But again, it was so regionally limited, he never had a chance to win New York or California. Then there's Texas billionaire Ross Perot. Ross Perot. He ran under an independent banner in 1992 and under the Reform Party in 1996. He was charming, he was folksy, he was deficit focused, and he achieved okay results. 18.9% of the vote in 1992 and another 8.4% in 1996. He didn't win any single state's electoral votes, but he forced both major parties to address fiscal issues, even if his movement largely faded. And I think it's worth noting that Bill Clinton came in, raised taxes, which probably wouldn't have been Ross Perot's cup of tea. But Clinton, I think probably because of Perot, actually worked fairly decently with the Republican Party after the Newt Gingrich takeover in 1994. And by the end of the decade, whether it was an accounting trick or not, we had a balanced budget. I hadn't had it since. Then you had consumer rights advocate Ralph Nader. Now, he got a paltry 2.7% nationally in 2000. He ran on the Green Party ticket. But that 2.7%, a lot of people think that it acted as the spoiler that put George W. Bush in office, and that if Ralph Nader hadn't run, Al Gore's narrow loss to George W. Bush would have been a narrow victory. But would it really have mattered? They kind of seem like the same person to me, but I'm old. I'm old school. Maybe they're totally different people. Who knows? Ralph Nader. There was a shirt back in the day, and it said, Bush and Gore make me want a Ralph. I remember that. I think it's pretty funny. I didn't like it at the time, but looking back, it's hilarious. And you've had these persistent minor parties. We've had the Libertarian Party, and they're weirdos, frankly. And I know some good people who have run on the tickets in libertarian races and nationally and locally. But they've never been able to settle on who they are. And it's really frustrating, and it just makes it weird. The whole thing seems very weird to me. Then you have the Green Party, also weirdos. Again, they've never really been able to settle on who they are. And they have ballot access in a lot of states. They regularly appear on ballots, but they hardly ever garner any votes. Certainly not enough to play spoiler in any states. But they have occasionally influenced policy here and there. And some of the major parties, Republican or Democrat, depending on the year, have adopted maybe some of the Green Party ideas or maybe some of the Libertarian Party ideas, but not really. Because for the last 160 plus years, there's never been a third party that's sustained any kind of national viability. So that's the context in which on July 1st, in an interview with the Columbia Journalism Review, you have to analyze Tucker articulating clear motivations for wanting to help a third party. He described the U.S. political system as a one-party state, posing as a democracy. And he said that Republicans and Democrats are, quote, in lockstep solidarity with each other on foreign policy, war in the Middle East, and financial matters. And I largely agree with that. I would say they're also in lockstep solidarity on things like deporting people who are here illegally. They don't seem to have any interest in it. But is there any way to challenge it? Well, I don't know. He tied this lockstep solidarity directly to the Iran conflict. And he argued that voting for Trump still led to the unwanted regime change wars that were influenced by donors and foreign interests. He emphasized, quote, this is a quote from the article here. If you vote for Trump and you still wind up in a regime change war, then we need options, end quote. He said, quote, I will do everything I can to bring that about, end quote. And regarding a third party, called for, quote, a good faith effort to figure out what benefits the country, again, end quote. So on policy substance, he advocates prioritizing the welfare of our own people here in the United States over the welfare of people around the world. That certainly would be a shift from Republican and Democrat Party politics. He's highlighted the decline in life expectancy, which is very unexpected, frankly, in a first world country. He's looked at stagnant wages for middle income Americans and how the wages are not keeping up with inflation, pushing a lot of people into economic hardship, pushing them down the economic ladder, even though they're working harder and more hours than ever. And he focuses on the diminished prospects for families and children. In other words, this is the first generation really whose children are not better off than their parents. Certainly not economically. But perhaps most key to this entire third-party bid is he has flatly stated on a number of occasions he himself has no interest in running for office. I'll say that Tucker is not alone in feeling apathetic. I find myself there quite a bit. His stance reflects, at least on its face, to appear to be driven by two ideas popular with these apathetic factions of both the left and the right. This is kind of what makes it intriguing. It is anti-interventionism combined with economic populism. Most third parties have run on one or the other. I think he sees the problem, the failure of third parties, because they focus on one side or the other. And it looks like he's advocating this dual platform, anti-interventionism and economic populism. If there's one thing neither major party wants, it's the idea of economic populism. They don't want economic populism gaining ground. And a close second is anti-interventionism. But if you combine them, you're going to get the attention of large swaths of voters on the left and the right. And when you get the attention of that many people, you get the ire of the elite leadership class. And so what you're going to see is an attack against Tucker and people that are perceived to be allies of Tucker that you've never experienced before in American history. It's going to be brutal. I mean, absolutely brutal. But the question is, could a third party work? Could it work this time? They've traditionally failed, sometimes spectacularly. Well, maybe. Maybe they could win this time. Maybe they could succeed. Maybe they could make a difference. For one thing, we are in an entirely new and different world when it comes to the effect of mainstream media. There was a time when being made fun of on Saturday Night Live would doom your electoral prospects. Well, nobody watches Saturday Night Live anymore. Late night comedians, morning and evening news shows, even cable news shows have a small fraction of their former audience. And those people still watching those things, and I hope you guys don't take this the wrong way if you fall into this category, those people are dying, and they're dying off quickly. They're old. Like nobody under 70 watches those shows anymore. So what Tucker and many of his supporters have are millions of dedicated viewers and listeners that pay no attention to the establishment media. Tucker commands attention no previous third party could dream of commanding. His ability to get on social media and independent platforms like YouTube, Spotify, Apple, others, allow direct communication. They simply bypass these traditional gatekeepers. The current moment features very widespread disillusionment with both parties from their own voters. Polls often show each party's voters favoring alternatives to the two-party system. You have specific fractures on the right, which is probably going to be Tucker's base and if he goes forward with this. You have specific fractures on the right over specific items he can drive a wedge through, like foreign policy after the war in Iran. Donald Trump promised he wasn't going to start a war in Iran. He wins and he goes and starts a war in Iran in a year. That's a specific fracture that you could isolate. But a new party emphasizing this America first isolationism, a return to working class and middle class economics, a deep skepticism of all these elite foreign entanglements, it likely would attract a lot of disaffected conservatives and libertarians. It might even pull in large groups of populists from the left who view the Democratic Party as no different from the Republican Party. The last few election cycles, we called them Bernie bros. Tucker's personal brand could accelerate this initial visibility and fundraising push it would need to survive. But it would be naive to ignore the quite formidable structural barriers that have made third-party success nearly impossible in the past. Chief among these, this winner-take-all reality of voting in America. What it does is it incentivizes strategic voting on election day. So a third-party supporter is a vocal champion of the third party, a vocal champion of the cause, maybe even a donor, but then on election day walks in and chooses the lesser of two evil between the major party candidates. If for no other reason, they don't want to waste their vote. They don't want to just be a spoiler. They want to make a difference. They want to be heard. There's also these what we think of as pesky administrative headaches, but they're huge. Things like ballot access laws. They vary state by state. They impose significant costs. You've got to go out and get signatures, pay fees. Sometimes there's a prior vote threshold just to be on the ballot. And these seem like minor inconveniences, but they're massive drain on resources before campaigning can even begin. Campaign finance realities favor the established parties. They have built-in donor network. They have ballot access. They have super PACs. Building a national infrastructure to compete with them that includes things like local candidates, party organizations, sustained funding, volunteer base, it is extraordinarily difficult without major party resources. Even with major party infrastructure, it often takes decades to make electoral progress, in a given state or district. It just does. The simple reality is that major parties have historically co-opted popular third-party movements. They just take their issues and they marginalize the challengers. And this generations of deep polarization has entrenched voters in existing camps. Some people are Democrats because their granddad was a Democrat, or they're a Republican because their grandma was a Republican. Tucker says he's ruled out running, and without Tucker at the top of the ticket as this charismatic standard bearer, the effort risks becoming another media-driven personality project and not really a durable organization. And I don't say any of this to discredit his announcement, and I certainly don't say any of it to discourage what he's trying to build. I mean, I believe it's a noble, if not necessary, goal. But I'm a realist. I can't help it. It's in my blood. And I call things like I see them. And until I see plans and candidates and financing, I'm at least somewhat skeptical in my realism. There's no doubt, there's absolutely no doubt that Tucker's platform and the timing of being in 2026 and 2028 as opposed to 1986 and 1988, there are built-in advantages to that. He has advantages previous third-party attempts lacked. But any third-party effort he builds or even backs has to consider the fact that the American electoral system has spent the last century or century and a half structuring itself to prevent precisely what he's trying to do. The structure is two parties. Everything around the structure is built to prevent a third party. Now, whether that structure, whether that system is sufficient to resist Tucker's stated goal of attempting third-party candidates in 2028 and beyond, well, it remains to be seen. And that's my thought. That's the only thing I can say about it. I don't have any inside information. I don't know anything else more about it than you guys do. But I wanted to weigh in on it because I think it's intriguing. He definitely 100% feels like I do when it comes to the current two-party system. So, all right, now I want to get into the first 48 hours. Because where Erika Kirk was, what she was doing, what was going on around her, impacting her time, her availability, and all that, I think it's pretty important. I mean, those of you who have a close spouse, just imagine, like, what would I be doing the first 48 hours after getting this tragic news? Well, let's go through it. I just want to go through it, just not minute by minute necessarily, but event by event, because I think it's pretty telling. 2 days before Charlie Kirk passed away. So this is September 8th. September 8th. Erika Kirk fires up her very long dormant Twitter account. It had been silent for a long time, more than a year, maybe 2 years. But on the 8th, 2 days before he passes away, she fires it up. And she tweets this from Ephesians 2:8 and 9. For by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. Okay, fair enough. Can't argue with that. But where are we going with that? Well, I'll tell you. Because the following day, she tweeted yet again. Keep in mind, this is a Twitter account that had been dormant for a very, very long time. And so when all of a sudden it fires back up, people sit up and take notice. Here's what she said on Twitter on September 9th, the day before Charlie Kirk passes away. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. I mean, you know, you can't go wrong with Bible verses on social media, right? Who's going to knock them? But I will say that in light of what we've learned over the last several months about how Charlie Kirk's social media worked, we covered it last week in detail. Charlie Kirk didn't even have his own password to Twitter. He had to ask his staff if he could post something. We also learned that most all of the important or well-known tweets that Charlie put up, including the Bible verses and all the stuff people loved, was actually written by Andrew Colvett, not Charlie Kirk. So it's a little weird when we see Erika pop up out of nowhere tweeting Bible verses. What's going on here? What is she talking about? But that's all we hear. September 8th, we get a Bible verse from Ephesians. September 9th, we get a Bible verse from the Psalms. Both of these were in the morning. 11:49 a.m. and 10:44 a.m. September 10th, at 12:23 p.m., Charlie Kirk was taken down publicly at UVU. This is not a surprise to anyone who's ever watched this program before. We've talked about it at length. 2 or 3 minutes later, now we've never gotten a phone record to support this timeline. This was a phone log that was typed up and given to Candace Owens by Erika Kirk. And the phone log supposedly accurately represents Mikey's phone calls in the immediate aftermath. We were told for months that Mikey called Erika first. And when Erika met with Candace, we learned that was not true. Mikey did not call Erika first. He actually called his wife, Eliza. And he called her about 2 minutes after Charlie went down. I apologize for my throat tonight. I wasn't sick all day. But on that call log, we saw that he called his wife, Eliza, and then supposedly tied Erika in on a three-way call. We don't have evidence from Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile or Cricket or Boost or whoever Mikey uses. We don't have that kind of evidence. We just have a written summary that Erika provided Candace. But Candace provided it as what she had, because that's what she does. She gets evidence, she puts it up, and lets you decide. You get to decide if you believe that's accurate. I don't know, and I'm starting to have my doubts. But that would put that call to Erika around 12:25 or 12:26. a call to Erika from Mikey McCoy, purportedly on three-way with his wife. And it's at that moment, she said a couple of minutes later, she was, Erika tells people, and I don't believe this story, but this is what she says, that she was at a clinic with her mother. And that she walks out of the clinic. This would be about 12:28-ish, a couple of minutes after getting the call. She walks out of the clinic, falls to her knees in the parking lot, collapses in the parking lot, and screams. That was 12:28 or so. And then we don't know much for the next 45 minutes. There's a lot of just darkness that's descending over this story. We don't really have a who was where, what they were doing, blow by blow. I don't know that we'll ever have such a thing. But it was at 1:13 p.m. Again, all of these times have been converted to Utah time, just so I don't have to keep going back and forth. So it's 1:13 p.m. Utah time that Victor Marx announces Charlie Kirk is dead. He puts it up on social media, and he announces Charlie Kirk has passed away. About the same time, Jack Hibbs, Pastor Jack Hibbs, a pastor of a Calvary Chapel church in California, he also announces Charlie Kirk has passed away. Now, Jack Hibbs' source, purportedly, was someone in Israel. No idea why someone in Israel knew Charlie was dead before everyone else, but he did. That's his statement, and he's sticking to it. We don't know who Victor Marx's source was, but we know he didn't leave it up terribly long before deleting it. But if that's the case, you would think if someone in Israel knows he's dead, if Jack Hibbs knows he's dead, if Victor Marx knows he's dead, you would hope at least the spouse would know he's dead. That is, if it was true after all. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe he was quite alive. But we get told continuously. Frank Turek has said it 50 times. Oh, Charlie was dead as soon as it happened. Mikey has said it. Rob McCoy has said it. Erika said it. He closed his eyes doing what he loved and woke up in the arms of his Savior. So everybody seems to agree that Charlie died nearly instantaneously and without pain. That's up for you to decide whether you believe them. I don't. I think he was alive for quite a long time. I think he was alive under the table. I think he was alive in the car. I think he was alive at the hospital and then died later at the hospital. I believe that with all my heart. I have reasons for believing that, but I can't report them because I don't report things with just one source. I need another source. But I believe he was alive. I believe he was alive. Now, let's say they're right and he was dead. And Victor knows, Victor Marx knows, Jack Hibbs knows, and somebody in Israel knows. And whoever told Victor Marx knows. That's 4 people who know he's dead. You would assume then that means someone at the hospital would know he's dead, and presumably they would immediately call his wife, Erika Kirk, and she would know he's dead. This is by 1:13 p.m. So we don't have any idea what happens between 1:13 p.m. when these Instagram messages are put up from Jack Hibbs and Victor Marx and 2:31 p.m. when Erika Kirk takes off from Scottsdale Airport. We don't know what happened in that intervening 45 minutes or so, or hour and 15 or so. But at 2:31 p.m. Utah time, 2 hours and 8 minutes after Charlie Kirk went down, an airplane leaves Scottsdale that purportedly has Erika Kirk on it. And only, well, I don't want to say only Erika Kirk. There may have been people with her, but reportedly, according to them, Andrew Colvette was not on this flight. I don't believe that, but he wasn't. That's their story, and they're sticking to it. But N-102 Delta Zulu, it's the plane that Charlie flew to Salt Lake City in that morning. It left Scottsdale at 2:31 p.m. And she told the New York Times that she found out, or at least the New York Times reported, I'm assuming they got it from her, that she found out Charlie Kirk died while she was in the air. I don't think that's true. Because we know for a fact Marina Menas, who works at Turning Point USA, sent a request at 2:05 p.m., 26 minutes before this plane took off. She sent a request for a draft of Charlie Kirk's death statement from TPUSA. We know that for a fact. That was at 2:05 p.m. Utah time. That was 26 minutes before the plane took off. So now we're up to like a lot of people know he's dead. So why is the New York Times reporting that Erika didn't find out he was dead until she was in the plane? Are they hiding it? Did they not tell her? They waited until she was airborne to tell her? How cruel. I don't believe that. As much as I hate the actions the TPUSA people have taken over the last 10 months, I don't believe they're so heartless and cruel as to let her get airborne before telling her husband is dead, if they've known for anywhere from 25 minutes to an hour and a half. I don't believe they would do that. Not even those clowns would do that. I don't believe. At 2:47 p.m. Mountain Time, we get this tweet from Victor Marx. And this Victor Marx is going to play a recurring role here, more than we realized at the time he was playing. We get this tweet from Victor Marx, and it is kind of a weird message. Victor Marx says, pray. Again, this is 2:47 p.m. Utah time, 3:47 where I sit here in Middle Tennessee. This is far more complicated than most will assume. Watch and pray. Pray for Charlie Kirk, his dear bride Erika, misspelled, and their 2 children. What was so complicated, Victor? What was it that you know that we don't know? Because we're told now it's not complicated at all. A crazy gay kid got up on a building and shot him. That doesn't sound very complicated. So Victor Marx, who, an hour and a half before had tweeted he was dead, had some sort of inside source that knew he was dead, is now tweeting it's very complicated, far more complicated than any of us understand. That's 2:47 p.m. 3:32 p.m. The plane Erika's in lands in Provo. It was about an hour-long flight from 2:31 to 3:32. And when it lands in Provo, we have confirmation that it landed from multiple sources. We have confirmation from flight records. We have confirmation from police radio that the wife of Charlie Kirk was getting ready to land and would need a police escort to the hospital. And Frank Turek chimes in. Frank Turek chimes in and says that Erika Kirk arrived at the hospital about a half hour later.
And felt absolutely no pain. That's what I was told later. But of course, we had to try. And by the way, there was just nothing any of us could do about it. We were giving him CPR, but nothing was happening. It wasn't like if we had better first aid or we had better medical facilities or we were faster to the hospital, we could have saved him. We couldn't. So if that's any comfort at all, Charlie didn't suffer. He was gone. He was with Jesus, absent from the body, present with the Lord. That's where he was. Now, it is true, when we got to the hospital and they started working on him right away, they did get a pulse back. And so Rick and I were just, everyone's praying. We're just praying for a miracle. We had a small sliver of hope. And the doctor later said that we got a pulse because Charlie was a very healthy man, but the shot was catastrophic. So 20 or 30 minutes later, the surgeon came out and said he was dead.
So that timeline puts his death well before Erika took off from Scottsdale. Well before. 20 to 30 minutes after they arrived at the hospital. It took about 15 minutes to get there. So 45 minutes after 12:23. That would be about a little after 1. That's very in line with Victor Marx tweeting at 1:13 and Jack Hibbs about the exact same time, tweeting that Charlie Kirk had passed away. Seemed like they had good source of information. Well, Erika gets to the hospital around 4, so he's been dead quite a while. And from 4 to 8, we don't know what's happening to Charlie Kirk's body. There were reports that the surgeon may have had trouble getting back into the room, that the feds may have tried to stop him, and the surgeon allegedly had to call someone he knew high up in government to allow him back into the room, access to the body. We have no idea what was happening to Charlie Kirk's body at that time. But we do know that it was about 7:57 p.m., and we have documented evidence of this, 7:57 p.m., that Charlie Kirk's body left Timpanogos Hospital. I'll turn the volume down on this, just let it roll. But it left Timpanogos Hospital in a motorcade and headed to Salt Lake City. I'm not sure exactly where it is on this thing. I don't want to play the whole 4 minutes, but at some point he leaves and he's in a minivan or a van of some sort, and he's off to Salt Lake City because that's where the medical examiner will do the work up there. So we have documentation of this. It's 7:57 p.m. I'd like to see the actual body, the van roll out, but I don't know where it is. You see these people with their flashers on. These are VIPs, very important people. But they are rolling out, heading to, I think that's it right there. I think it's in that van, if I'm not mistaken. But it doesn't matter where it is. It's this motorcade. And so, she arrives at 4, she leaves at 8, or the body leaves at 8. We have no idea what was going on in that intermediate time. We don't know who was talking to who, what was being said. All we know is that was mostly what happened that day. So you get to 8 o'clock at night, Mountain Time. It's an hour or so drive to Salt Lake City. Maybe 45 minutes if you're hustling, but I doubt a motorcade is hustling all that much. So you put them in Salt Lake City around 9 o'clock at night. You got to go back to the hotel. You got to get a night's sleep, get a bite to eat, whatever it is. There's a news reporter who's standing outside of the medical examiner's office at 6 something in the morning, the next morning. I want to show his whole page. I think that's kind of rude because it looks like he has some personal stuff up there. But this is him at like 6 something in the morning, live outside the medical examiner's office where the body of Charlie Kirk is here for further investigation. This was, I think, like 6:45 a.m., give or take. Oh, 6:04 a.m., excuse me. And then we hear about 5.5 hours later, that Charlie's going to get a ride home back to Arizona on Air Force Two.
Our newsroom, a push from AP that is telling us that J.D. Vance will come to Utah on the Air Force Two and will take Charlie Kirk's body back to Arizona on the plane. And we don't have information on timeline or anything like that. That is just the latest from AP. And we know that Vance and his wife will speak to Kirk's family, but we don't know when that is happening or where. But we'll keep an eye on it and bring you the latest. Reporting live, Claire Scott, KSL News Radio. Thanks.
So that's kind of it's just a local spin on it there. But that's the first, I think, report. It was an AP report that J.D. Vance would be flying to Salt Lake City. We know at some point that morning, I think it was 10 or 11 a.m., somebody used Erika Kirk's account at a local athleisure place. I can't remember the name of it. Bought some women's blazers, some pants, some athletic shirts. The explanation made sense to me. They arrived with no clothing and needed something fresh to put on. They didn't want to stink. I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to stink the next day either. They certainly can afford to go get some athleisure. That took place sometime that morning. Now, at 2:21 p.m., Air Force Two lands in Utah. And when it lands, there are people there to greet the vice president getting off. It is at 4 something p.m. that the body of Charlie Kirk is removed from the hearse and put on Air Force Two. And that's J.D. Vance leading an honor guard. I don't know who this guy is on the other side. Is that the governor of Utah? But that's J.D. Vance at the head of the honor guard there, who is carrying Charlie Kirk. I don't know who these people are on the back either. I don't know who these people are. Someone smarter than I am may know who they are. But this is taking place a little after 4 p.m. in Salt Lake City. You can see Charlie Kirk's parents in the background there. and they are just walking the body into the cargo area there of Air Force Two. And again, it's about an hour-long flight or so. There's Erika there in the background. Stacy Sheridan never too far away with a camera at all times because she's creepy. The more I learn about her, the creepier she seems. But I don't want to get lost. I don't want to get sidelined. And so if you're building a timeline, there wasn't much time for Erika to do anything on the day of. Makes sense. September 10th. I mean, she's kind of tending to things, 4 hours in the hospital, and then you got to drive, whatever was going on in the morning, she finds out about it. She goes to Scottsdale Airport, boards a plane, flies to Provo, straight to the hospital. 4 hours later, they drive up to Salt Lake City. The night is kind of over. It's late in the evening when all that ends. The next morning, someone goes shopping at Alo. That's the name of it, ALO. They go shopping at Alo. They buy some athleisure. They have to get dressed. By 2:21, the vice president's landing in Utah, and at 4:25, they're leaving with the body, with Charlie Kirk's body. And the flight is a little over an hour. And it lands back in Phoenix at, 5 or a little over an hour, so close to 6. This is the body landing in Phoenix. Well, there's people watching the body land in Phoenix. There we go. That's Air Force Two rolling up. And there is Charlie's casket being unloaded. And so the point I'm making here is the day is sort of already done. September 11th is almost coming to a close. It's evening. You can see how long the sun is, how low the sun is. Late afternoon. It's almost 6 p.m. when it lands here. There's Erika Kirk with Usha Vance. There's the Vice President of the United States behind them. Appears to be some sort of security behind the Vice President. And then some people just, tacticians making it so they can safely load everything up. So that puts us after 6 p.m. by the time all that's done. We're after 6 p.m. At 6:30 p.m. At 6:30 p.m., 6:28 p.m. on your screen here, again, Utah time, 6:28 p.m., you have Charlie Kirk's casket being driven by motorcade through the streets of Phoenix, or the Phoenix metropolitan area. There's a motorcade here. You see multiple police escorts in the front. They're on the left-hand side here. There's a hearse, the white hearse there, right behind the motorcycles, and then a car almost rear-ended the hearse, it looks like. That would have been unfortunate. But they're making their way through, and again, you can see on your lower right-hand side here what time this is. We're getting into the late afternoon, Arizona time even later Utah time. And they're not even to the mortuary yet. They're not there. So they're, the day's getting away from them. That was 5-something. Here we have 6:36 Utah time. We have 5:36 Arizona time. The casket is arriving at the mortuary, the funeral home. I'll fast forward through this a little bit, but you can see it's arriving. So again, the day is getting away from them. I'm building to something here, I promise. But this is, I think, Hanley's or whatever, mortuary funeral home. And they are rolling up there. It is now 5:37 p.m. Arizona time. The next morning, 9:12 a.m. the next morning, they have a document here, and we've edited the name of the document out so you can't pull it up, but we were able to access it. They have a document here. Would you like me to put any sort of logo on it or anything? I'll blow it up a little bit here so you can see it. This is an internal communication at 9:12 a.m. You want to know what that document's about? It's this document. Keep in mind the timeline we've discussed till now. That is this document here. Erika Kirk to make her first public address. Immediate release, contract to Andrew Colvette or Aubrey Leish. There's the logo. That should we put a logo on it? Apparently the answer was yes. Erika Kirk's remarks will be live tonight, Friday, September 12, 8:15 Eastern Time. Viewable on Charlie Kirk's and TPUSA's streaming pages. Erika Kirk, widow of Turning Point USA founder and CEO Charlie Kirk, will deliver live remarks to the media, her first public address. And then they've got all the places you can find it. The stream will launch at 8 p.m. Eastern. Remarks to begin shortly after at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Now, something that bothers me. This is actually during daylight time because this is September. That should have been EDT. Eastern Standard Time is a different time than EDT. But I'm not going to nitpick. I'm not going to nitpick their lack of professionalism. But there's a difference between Eastern Standard Time, EST, and Eastern Daylight Time, EDT. And then at that time, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:15 Utah time, 5:15 Arizona time, we get this scene here. This is what they were building up to. And so when we put it in context, when was she grieving? There was a lot going on those first 48 hours. There was a lot going on. A lot of mechanics. When was the speech written? Are we to believe she had any hand in writing this speech at all? If so, when did she do it? Because almost every hour was occupied. From the moment Charlie Kirk passed away until she came on at 5:15 Arizona time on September 12th. And then it was very shortly after that speech, that we get the weird, and we have blacked out the body just for I don't know why. I mean, YouTube's weird. So we blacked out the body. But it's almost more impactful if you listen to the video she put up. This was Erika Kirk's Instagram page, right almost as soon as her speech ended.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I know. I love you. I love you so much. I love you. I love you. God bless you.
I've been around radio a long time. I've been around microphones a very long time. I mean, I bet I've broadcasted 15, 20,000 hours of live broadcasting in the last decade plus, decade and a half almost. I refuse to believe she wasn't mic'd up for that event, for that appearance. That was her leaning into the casket. That was that weird image of her in the casket. I just find it impossible to believe that a camera picked up those soft whispers when she is facing away from it with her head in the body. It's just, listen to it again and tell me, can you hear her body rubbing against the microphone? It almost sounds like you can hear the body rubbing against the microphone.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I know. I love you. I love you so much. I love you. I love you. God bless you.
Now, the reason I even bring that up is, was she wearing one of these? Was she wearing a Rode microphone or something similar? DJI equivalent? Some sort of lavalier mic, lapel mic of some sort? Because if so, it's not spontaneous. If so, it was a production. It was a production. And if there is a production taking place at the funeral home in Arizona with Charlie Kirk's corpse, you have to ask, what else have they done that's a production? I would argue nearly everything. But that is so bizarre to me that you can hear her softest whispers, that you can hear fabric, what appears to sound like fabric rustling around on the mic as she leans in and rubs around. And then we get this. This was posted September 13th, but it was taken, we believe, on September 12th, perhaps even the 11th, whenever they got back home to Arizona. But I think it was the 12th. It would have to be the 12th. We get this picture from Victor Marx with the faces of the men behind him blacked out and something blacked out between his legs. Again, not that we're staring into what's between his legs, and I'm not suggesting anything sexual is going on down there, but something weird's going on that they blacked out this area down here. But again, it looks performative, particularly, I mean, they're turned towards the camera. That's not how you comfort someone. A weird sidearm hug opened up towards the camera doesn't feel very comforting to me. And put that picture and put the microphone sounds we just heard, what apparently to me was a very clearly mic'd up Erika Kirk in her husband's casket. And ask yourself, was this a performance? I'm going to pull this picture back up. Daisy just pointed something out I didn't catch, and being a male, I may not know the implications of this entirely, but is she wearing fake eyelashes for the picture? Like, you know, I've got daughters. I know what fake eyelashes look like. And where's her M ring? You know, she wears that M ring with her G ring. Where's the M ring? G being the daughter, M being the son. Where's the M ring? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But if she has the fake eyelashes on and she's turned towards the camera, and the night before she posted a video of her in the casket, apparently mic'd up, when was all this planned? When was all this planned? Like, when did we write the speech? I just went through the timeline of everything that was going on for those 2 days. When was that speech written? There's a lot going on. A lot going on. Did she one take Jake it? Or did she like give a run through? Did she rehearse it? Did she rehearse the speech? I mean, I know if I don't write a speech or if I don't write something, I would fumble all over it trying to read it. And I've been doing this a long time. I fumble over stuff I write. Much less something somebody else wrote. I don't know the cadence. They don't know my voice. It's weird. Guys, it's weird. I believe, I will just give you my opinion, allegedly. We've been manipulated from the beginning. From the very beginning. We were manipulated by someone who put on a microphone and crawled in her husband's casket. We were manipulated by someone who put on fake eyelashes and posed for the camera with Victor Marx. And I think it's worth noting that we still don't know if his body is in the ground. Was it cremated or was he buried? Because the evidence of how he died might be in the ground. If he's in the ground. Or was he cremated? We were told there was a public burial at a cemetery, meaning there should still be a body. Now, would you go through all that to invite close friends and family to a graveside service and then cremate someone? I would hope not. That would almost be evidence of wrongdoing. That would almost be criminal culpability, I would think. I mean, that would be so weird that you just wouldn't be able to explain that away. But I think it's important to go back. It's been 10 months, almost longer than that. It's almost been 10 months. I think it's important to go back to those early days and look at the timeline. What was happening every step along the way? Now, in light of this, I want to show you how the public is accepting what happened. I'm going to go to the comments from the Shawn Ryan and Candace Owens interview. This was Shawn Ryan's show. What episode number? Number 318. Shawn Ryan's show, number 318, Candace Owens, from just a few days ago. He just posted this a few days ago. I think they filmed this a couple of weeks ago. I just want to roll publicly through the comments. I stopped wiping my tears from my one eye to watch this. That's the top comment here. If you think I'm going to sit here for the next 4 hours and 44 minutes and binge watch this, you're absolutely right. I just hung up on Brigitte Macron to listen to this. I had to jump off the gurney with a pair of scissors in my hands just to watch this. I forgot my screwdriver on the roof, rushing to watch this. I'm at Dairy Queen, had to take my maroon shirt off to watch this. I had to stop shopping for glitter pantsuit and fireworks display to watch this. I abandoned my barefoot hike across an untouched Albanian island with Ivanka to watch this. Watching this from the USS Liberty. I stopped selling hats and merch at the event of the century to watch this. I stopped blowing up explosive factories in Tennessee to watch this. I stopped reassembling my rifle on the roof to watch this. I screamed, I just want to go home just to go home and watch this. Canceled my top brass secret meeting at Fort Huachuca to watch this. I didn't put in my fake tear solution so I could watch this. I stopped vacuuming a shattered Rode mic while detailing a car I bought at auction to watch this. I stopped dating for 5 years before I watched this. I canceled a paver emergency to watch this. I stopped doing CPR in the back of an SUV to watch this. I gathered all my husband's belongings from a crime scene to watch this. I literally stopped forgiving someone in the middle of a ceremony just to watch this. I finally took off my furry suit to watch this. This interview was owed to viewers 3,000 years ago. I left my intervention at the Hamptons to watch this. I quit being a stay-at-home mom to my children and became a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company just to watch this. Me and my bomb-sniffing dogs quit mid-search just to watch this. I just left a party and told everyone I just want to go home just to watch this. I stopped removing 10 inches of soil to watch this. I stopped writing a fake confession letter to frame a patsy to watch this. I'll stop what I'm doing in 33 hours to watch this. Unless you think that's all of them, it goes on forever. Like you can't get to the end of them. I've tried. You just keep scrolling. Nobody's buying the performance. Nobody's buying it. Because it started with a mic'd up widow whispering in a casket, rubbing her dress or skirt or whatever it was over the microphone. And then it went to a Victor Marx half-open pose with fake eyelashes on. Who wears fake eyelashes when they're crying and grieving? Well, after the Candace Owens, Shawn Ryan interview, Candace Owens put up a couple of tweets. I'll show them here because I want to talk about them briefly tonight. NBC has a 5-hour deadline for comment on this, so tweets Candace Owens. For reference, NCRI, we'll talk about them in just a second, same Zionist group that brought us the Christ is King is anti-Semitic study. This time, it's anyone who notices Erika keeps lying is responsible for her receiving death threats. And there is a request here for comment on a story that's going to be printed in 5 hours. Well, that's one thing she put up, and then she put another one up shortly after that. Now NBC is doing a hit piece. NBC is now citing the Shawn Ryan interview as an example of conversations that are deadly to Erika. This is a real email. They say it's akin to rhetoric that caused Trump's assassination attempt. Now they're admitting left-wing rhetoric caused Trump's assassination attempt. That's a big step. Where they talk about NCRI being quoted. NCRI research says, quote, Owens built a narrative ecosystem that her audience turned into explicit threats. They also write that Owens' attacks have created a permission structure for violence. I wish Candace had asked me how to respond to this. I've responded to these things before on behalf of other clients, not that she's a client. Well, what is NCRI? Let's take a look at it just briefly, because we have to know who is this that's pushing this. This is the NCRI founder, Joel Finkelstein, chief science officer, co-founder of the Network Contagion Research Institute. The Network Contagion Research Institute. This is Joel Finkelstein. That's a picture there of Mr. Finkelstein. What is Joel Finkelstein? Who funds Joel Finkelstein? Well, according to Wikipedia, we have an idea of who funds this outfit. NCRI funders included the liberal Open Societies Foundation of George Soros and the conservative Charles Koch Foundation, the Koch Foundation. It was paid $335,000 by Israel on Campus Coalition. The next year, Israeli businessman Iran Tabul stated that his organization, Hetz for Israel, has privately raised funds for NCRI. It's noteworthy that NCRI founder Joel Finkelstein is a director of Hetz for Israel. 2023, the Ruderman Family Foundation paid NCRI to conduct a study about anti-Semitism. The research, the report, found that anti-Zionist campaigns and narratives on Twitter are largely anti-Semitic. Of course it did. RFF, which is based in the U.S. and in Israel, works to solidify the relationship of the state of Israel with American Jewry, not jewelry, Jewry. In 2026, Finkelstein had to come out and say that all the donors are U.S. citizens. Why would he have to say that? Well, because it doesn't look like it. That's why you would have to say it, because it obviously doesn't look like it. Well, what do they do? What do they do? Well, let's go to their Form 990 and find out what it is they say they do when they're talking to the U.S. federal government. Because anybody can put anything they want on a website, but when you're talking on their taxes, you've got to be honest. Or at least you got to give a story they'll buy. NCRI uses its Contextus platform to embed, track, and expose the meaning of language, videos, and images used within web communities that increasingly signify hate and encourage violence. In other words, even though what you're saying isn't hateful or violent, they will use a proprietary platform to say that what you are saying signifies hate and encourages violence, even if that's not what you're doing. But they've got a platform that'll say that's what you're doing. That's how you read that first sentence. NCRI exposes cryptic, violent, and genocidal language and symbols within social media communities and tracks the meaning and context of their coded language. Meaning and context is applied to from them. They'll tell you what your own words mean. As a result, NCRI has emerged as one of the leading authorities in the world on how social media-inspired domestic terror operates. In other words, you say something like, Erika Kirk's a liar. They run those words through their platform, and they come out and say, that is cryptic, violent, and genocidal language. You are inspiring domestic terror. And there's nothing you can say about it because they're the world's leading experts, the world's leading authorities. So who are we to argue with them? Don't believe me? They're one of the world's leading authorities? 2 different media publications have contacted people for quotes on this story. The basis of their story is that this company has determined that Candace Owens' appearance on Shawn Ryan contained this coded cryptic language that was secretly telling people to go out and commit violent acts, even though Candace Owens, as have I, and many others, we are not alone, have made it very clear that violence is unacceptable. It's off the table. Nobody should commit any violent acts. I go as far as saying nobody should be contacting anybody. You shouldn't be emailing them. You shouldn't be calling them. You shouldn't be stopping them in public. You know, if you see Andrew Colvett, be polite, wave, and go on with your life. Nobody should be contacting any of these people. Nobody should be threatening any of these people. It's nonsense. This is a news story. We are covering news the best we can. And if in the course of covering news, we find out that a public figure has told a falsehood, we document it. We document it on the show. We document it on X. That's very normal. You remember the phrase, some of you may be too young, but in the mid-2000s, in the peak of the anti-war fervor that the left used to have, the phrase Bush lied, kids died was very common. And what it meant is George Bush lied to get us into war, and our soldiers died, and civilian children died as well. That's what it meant. It was just an acknowledgement that he was being less than honest. He lied about weapons of mass destruction. He lied about a lot of other things. The threats Iraq and Afghanistan posed to the United States. It's normal if you're a public figure and you tell something that's not true for people to document it. That's not domestic terror. That's not coded language. That's not you don't have to contextualize it. That's not encouraging anybody to do anything violent. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's just covering a news story. So why did NCRI get involved in this story? I've had trouble figuring it out because it doesn't make sense. I asked Grok. I don't recommend only doing research on Grok. I already knew the answer, but I asked Grok on X, who funds NCRI? And I just went through some of the answers. I just showed you. It's almost all pro-Israel organizations, which confused me because then I asked Grok, well, is Erika Kirk Israeli or Jewish? Well, no, of course not. She was born and raised Catholic in Ohio and Arizona to a Scandinavian father and an Italian Lebanese mother. Nothing Jewish about her. You can't get less Jewish than that, I don't think. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Chinese or something, I don't know. It's pretty far from Jewish. No offense to our friends from China, friends of the program, but I mean, my goodness, they're not Jewish, nor is she. So why are they so interested in this? Well, I found something interesting in doing a little research on NCRI. They've added someone new to their staff here in the recent past. Network Contagion Research Institute appoints Johnnie Moore as a senior advisor on Middle East Affairs and associate director. Look at the date line there. May 20, 2026. It's July 5. We're talking 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. The Network Contagion Research Institute today announced the appointment of Johnnie Moore as a senior advisor on Middle East affairs and associate director, strengthening the Institute's leadership at a time of escalating information warfare, foreign influence operations, and domestic instability. Moore brings a rare combination of operational experience, strategic insight, and global engagement across government, civil society, and international networks. He's advised senior U.S. leadership, engaged directly with Congress, and worked alongside yada, 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 yada. His appointment reflects NCRI's continued expansion into national security orient. Okay, well, who is Johnnie Moore? We did a whole show on him. I don't want to go through the whole show we did, but we previously talked about a business he had called Kairos, K-A-R-I-O-S. And we talked about someone who helped found Kairos with him. You might recognize this feller. His name is Andrew Colvett. It's a very old picture of Andrew there. Here it is. Vice President of Communications, the Kairos Company. Experienced communications marketing professional dealing with major brands, nonprofits, and high-profile thought leaders, authors, and commentators. Oh, I think I get it now. I think I get it. I think I know where we're going here. When we did our show on Johnnie Moore, we showed his bio from the Kairos Company. This is his company. Notice this paragraph here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just follow along with me as I read a selection from this paragraph here. I'll make it a little bigger for you if I can. I don't know how big I can make it. During the Obama administration, Reverend Moore visited Capitol Hill to warn about the existential threat that a little-known terrorist group, later known as ISIS, posed to the ancient Christian communities of the Middle East. His advocacy was largely met by indifference and skepticism, but he continued to raise alarm. By the fall of 2014, so 6 months or so later, ISIS had indeed embarked upon a reign of terror across Iraq and Syria, decimating ancient Christian communities. It was then that he traveled to the region himself to meet with regional leaders, including His Majesty King Abdullah of Jordan and various religious and community leaders who had been displaced by ISIS in Jordan and Iraq. That's awfully... Do you have a crystal ball? You know, one of the things Donald Trump told us was Barack Obama founded ISIS. And I believe him. That's back when I could believe what he said. A lot of us think, your humble host included, that ISIS was an op and that it was put in place in order to give us an excuse to be over there. Weird that Johnnie Moore knew about it in advance. Not many people knew about it in advance. Johnnie Moore knew about it in advance. That's a little bit from his bio. Here's a little more Johnnie Moore before I go through just a quick greatest hits of Johnnie Moore. He is currently the Vice Chancellor and Managing Director of Middle East Studies at Pepperdine. Vice Chancellor, Managing Director of Middle East Studies, Pepperdine University in Washington, D.C. So here is his bio. It's almost all in the Middle East. Now, let me go through a little greatest hits section here of Johnnie Moore. Pull this over here so I can just read from it. This is just a little bit of what Johnnie Moore has been up to. July 2015, in an interview with disgraced pastor Greg Laurie, he talked about failed states, what they have in common. He talked about how in 2010, there was only one failed state in the Middle East. And by the time this interview kicked off in July of 2015, there were 5 failed states in the Middle East. He talked about how individual Christians need to give their money to people doing work over there, like Samaritan's Purse, who has been called Israel's #1 ally. Later in 2015, he works on the Iraq to Slovakia refugee evacuation, coordinated with broadcaster Glenn Beck. 2016, he's appointed to the Trump Campaign Evangelical Executive Advisory Board. 2017, the youngest ever recipient of the Simon Wiesenthal Center's Medal of Valor. He joins the Anti-Defamation League Task Force in 2017. On 2018, he's appointed by Trump as commissioner to U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom. He met with the Prime Minister of Israel, the current, now is also, again, the Prime Minister of Israel, after Billy Graham passed. And he co-founded the Congress of Christian Leaders with a guy named Samuel Rodriguez, and it turns out all they do is promote our greatest allies propaganda. He led or participated in evangelical meetings with the president of Egypt, the crown prince of the UAE, the president of Azerbaijan, the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, the prime minister of Sudan, and was the World Economic Forum delegate to the Middle East. Bragged about having clients like Paula White, PragerU, The Blaze, and Turning Point USA. This is Johnnie Moore. This is who just joined the NCRI 6-7 weeks ago, and now they're attacking Candace Owens. This is the guy, when all those things were happening that I just read, was working with Andrew Colvett at Kairos. So this is the context you have to understand what I'm about to show you. How Andrew Colvett ever got involved with Charlie Kirk in the first place. We've covered this, but I think it's important. We're going to cover it again. Because Andrew Colvett went on a podcast with the New York Times and had the following to say to the host, Ross Douthat. Yeah, I'll go a step back. I was actually living and working in Hollywood. I had a job working with Mark Burnett of The Voice, Celebrity Apprentice, Survivor, and Shark Tank. He was doing those projects, then at some point he got into faith-based content. I was thrown into the deep end. One day we would be at Jimmy Kimmel, or we'd be at one of the nightly shows, and then we would go to CNN, and then we'd go on Fox, and then we'd be at a church. Mark's chief of staff at the time, a guy named Johnnie Moore, started a PR company. He asked me to start it with him. This is the guy who just joined NCRI, the company who 6 weeks after he joins it begins launching an attack on Candace Owens and planting stories in the news about how what Candace Owens is saying is putting Erika Kirk in danger, even though all Candace Owens is doing is covering the news. That's Johnnie Moore. I wanted to write screenplays, actually, doing the LA thing. My head was still very much in that space. I wanted to make content. Whoa, well, I guess you still are making content. Was your idea to get her to crawl in the casket with a microphone? Was it your idea to tell her to put on the fake eyelashes and do a quarter turn with Victor Marx? I mean, are you still making content? So I kind of refused. And then he said, why don't you just work a couple days a week? Help me get this thing off the ground, and then you can do your own thing. No word yet on why Johnnie Moore thought Andrew Colvett was indispensable to his ability to start a PR firm. The guy was a low budget employee of Mark Burnett. What makes you think he's a PR guru? He already said he didn't want to do PR. He wanted to make content. But I digress. Along the way, we started bringing on conservative clients. PragerU was one of those clients. PragerU, by the way, the CEO of PragerU was in the IDF, Unit 8200 in the Mossad. Like, that's PragerU. And there ain't no bones about it. That's who they are. That's one of their clients. We end up bringing on The Blaze as a client. Glenn Beck makes no bones about the fact of who his ally truly is, who his favorite ally truly is. And at one point, this is where we get into how they ended up, how did Andrew Colvett end up with Charlie Kirk? At one point, Charlie came across the path of Johnnie in Southern Florida at some event. And he said, hey, you should look into this guy. He's young, but I think he's got a lot of energy. You should contact him. Here's his email. And so how did Andrew Colvett end up with Charlie Kirk? Well, it was Johnnie Moore. It was Johnnie Moore who just went to NCRI, who has a singular mission to support our greatest ally and call everyone who has any criticism against them a domestic terrorist. I mean, that's how I read it. That's how I read it. I could be reading it wrong, guys. Don't sue me, but I think I've got that right. So I reached out to him being Charlie. So I reached out to Charlie, said, hey, we'd love to talk about maybe working with you. And he basically ghosted for a while. And he eventually had some news story that he tried to handle on his own and didn't go so well, kind of blew up. And then he called me. I got to work with him via the agency with Johnnie Moore for about a year. And then he basically said, hey, I like you. I'll hire you. I'll be your first client. I also want to start a podcast. I want you to help me. So that's the context. All that Johnnie Moore background was the context for how Andrew Colvett ended up with Charlie Kirk in the first place. And now Andrew Colvett is still at TPUSA, still managing their PR in a totally disastrous way, by the way. And Johnnie Moore goes to work at NCRI, and all of a sudden NCRI is going after TPUSA's biggest critics. Do you see what's happening here? Do you see that this is all an act? I just want to be very clear, NCRI. Nothing I'm saying is encouraging domestic terrorism. Nothing could be further from the truth. I abhor violence. I'm anti-war. I'm anti-violence in general. But this is what's happening. This is what's happening. And it all goes back to the performance of the first 48 hours. Because without that disastrous 48 hours and everything that followed, meaning every instinct they've had from the very beginning has been wrong. It's wrong to mic up the widow and put her in the casket. It's wrong to put fake eyelashes on the widow and have her fake dabbing tears while she's quarter turned towards the camera so that Victor Marx can post it on social media. It's all wrong. It's wrong to at 9 a.m. on September 12th, when the woman hadn't even had a chance to be alone, much less grieve her dead husband, to say, we should trot her out. Here's the PR press release. Does anyone want to add a logo? Who wrote the press release and when? How are you so confident she was going to be able to do that? The whole thing is so gross, so gross. And anyone defending it is gross. I'm sorry, they are. I want someone from TPUSA, one of these hacks on X that's constantly running to her aid every time they get a chance. I want someone to explain to me why miking her up and putting her in the casket was okay. I'll wait. We're still waiting. I'll throw the goat water bottle away. Anyone? Is there anyone who can tell me why that's okay? Why that doesn't come off as fake and performative? And if you're doing fake and performative things, like 24 hours after your husband is brutally taken down in broad daylight, do you understand why we doubt everything you do after that? And we look at all of it through that lens? So maybe don't send your hatchet men out there and just be decent people. I know that's almost impossible for some of you. Like Blake, I don't think is capable of being a decent person. I don't know that Andrew is either. Maybe Erika is. I don't know. We don't hear a lot from Justin Strife. Maybe he has it deep within him. Tyler Boyer has basically disappeared off the planet. Maybe he can be decent. Mikey McCoy, he kind of been gone. Do you have a decent bone in you, Mikey? Dan Flood? I mean, is there anyone there that has anything better than this? Because if so, it's your time. Your time is now. These are not the words of domestic extremism, terrorism. This is the exact opposite. This is people covering a news story, and the reason people are interested in the news story is crap like this. This is why we're interested in it. This is why we became interested in it. It's why we remain interested in it. Because it looks fake, and it's looked fake from the very beginning. So if you don't want us calling you out on it, stop. Stop. That's the answer. Stop. Stop doing this. Don't hire hatchet men to go out there and train debaters. Don't hire people to go out on X and do rapid response. Don't hire people that every time something comes up to go out there and say, oh, that Candace Owens, she's evil. Just stop. Just be normal. Function like a normal human being. I know it's hard. I know it's hard at times. But function like a normal human being. And normal human beings, I'm sorry, are not throwing $5,000 a ticket founders balls on July 4th in Washington, D.C. Normal people are not flying in Gulfstream 5s all over the country every day or multiple days a week. This is not normal. Normal people fly coach. Maybe they get business class if they're rich. Normal people don't fly in private jets every time they need to run an errand. You don't want people covering this. Stop. Stop. Try honesty for once in your life. I think you'll find it's pretty effective. If you have enjoyed the program, by all means, click the like button. If you want to check out some of our stellar merch, you can go to realbaronpodcast.com. They do a good job of the merch up there. You can click the merch button here at the top of the screen. It'll take you down to the merch. Click view all. It'll take you to the main merch page where we have all this cool stuff. Constantly rotating stuff out. This is one of my favorites. It's got the Baronisms all over it. My wife was wearing this crow shirt yesterday on the 4th of July. We got bull butter stuff. We've got baby bull butter stuff. Just a lot of fun in here. RBP stuff, Christ is King Indeed stuff, Get a Daisy, Go Max, high IQ outfit stuff. It's just a lot of fun stuff up here. The very high selling Holy Mackerel sweatshirt, intellectually honest, philosophically consistent. That's been my tagline for a long time. The love you set and on and on and on. So lots to check out there, realbaronpodcast.com. And if you've not subscribed to the program, by all means, now's the time. And if you want to join the members page, we had a fun show Friday with Cassia from the Daily Freddo. That was a cool discussion. That was a really cool discussion. She's a very interesting person. Let me roll through some of your comments here. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone had a safe and wonderful 4th with no accidents. Yeah, 10 fingers, 10 toes. That's the goal. Thank you for all your team do, Mr. B. Glad to be a member. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. Can you get a hold of Christine Fakit? I think it's Fakit or Faketti. She loves you and talked about you glowingly last night in her live and wants to connect. She would be a great guest. I need to get in touch with her. I've been meaning to. I just haven't done it. Please tell me you saw the comments. Oh, I did, and we went through some of them. Great work. I'm trying my best out here. Sorry, Baron, but whatever that is, a holy nation and not holy cattle. I don't know what all that means. Thank you. Let's go. I'm trying my best. Miss Jackson. Baron, why don't you use your welcome back Cutter intro anymore? Can't use them on YouTube. They don't like music. July 4, I read Washington's farewell address. So prescient regarding foreign favoritism, like he was talking about our greatest ally. Oh, indeed. Indeed. It's actually fantastic. If you've never read it, it's worth a read. It's short, not too terribly long. RBP, Cure for these Sunday night blues. I've heard people say that the Sunday scaries are real. That's when you're afraid to go to work the next morning. Salespeople get it a lot. You got to start the week over. Got to get the whole machine ratcheted back up on Monday. We cure the Sunday scaries here. Yeah, we cure them. You don't have Sunday scaries here. Like button, please. Fort Myers, Florida, just literally joined today. FYI, I was the one that snuck into accidentally. The members only that started off public felt guilty. Don't feel guilty. But I see you've cured what ails you. You got a little bug. Nah, don't feel guilty. That was my fault. Anyone who made it in, that's on me. Hey, Brandon, chat. Hope you all had a great 4th. And I counted how many of you sneaked in. There was like 112 of you. With Cassia, you mentioned 2 widows, 1 missing. We have both checked in 3 months. Wednesday. I am better, closer to Jesus. No kids, 2 dogs, lonely, but I'm finding myself. Thanks for prayers. Yeah, Dara, I think you were the one that sent a message in first. Thank you for checking in, by the way. I think you were the one that checked in first that day. I do think about you guys a lot. I tell your story a lot. Probably once every week or 2, I tell someone that story about that day. And I'm really just promoting the community, not me, not the show. I'm just saying, hey, this is the kind of community we have. You know, people experience tragedy and they want to show up and get the prayers from the folks. So thank you. Thank you, Dara, for checking back in. Professor B, could you explain to the class what exactly makes evidence circumstantial? What evidence from the prelim hearing next week might be circumstantial? Yeah, this is interesting. We use the term evidence very loosely. In law, evidence has a very specific meaning, and that is items that will show up in front of a jury. We have rules of evidence in every jurisdiction. There's the federal rules of evidence. There's the UCMJ rules of evidence. Each state has its own rule of evidence. So this trial, being a Utah trial, will be governed by the Utah rules of evidence. What that means is the only time something is considered evidence is if it's in a form that the jury can review. Hearsay, most hearsay, for example, will be excluded as evidence. Some gets in. Excited utterance gets in. Statement by a party opponent gets in. That goes to weight, not sufficiency. So what you're talking about next week, we don't know if any of that's evidence. We don't know if the jury will see any of it because we have to wait until further on in the trial process to figure out what the jury is going to be able to see and what they're not. I know all of the statements that are just written or recorded statements, out-of-court statements, those will never see the light of day for a jury. Now, you might bring the person in. They might say the exact same thing, but that will be evidence. The recorded statement will not. So that's it. Circumstantial evidence is evidence like you could say someone was at the scene of a crime. That's circumstantial. That is not evidence they committed the crime. That is circumstantial evidence that they could have committed the crime. You can convict someone on circumstantial evidence. That's a common misnomer that you can't. Still have 10 fingers, 10 toes. Hope Tilly was okay with the festivities. My fur babies had a tough night. My dog didn't even notice. She loves fireworks. Like she looks out the window and watches them. Went out to the bathroom during fireworks. Doesn't bother her at all. But we don't really make a big deal out of stuff. Pause from framing a patsy to watch this. Good. Now, don't go back and finish it, though. After watching the Murdaugh appeal documentary, is there any way to guarantee no inside influence or protection of the TR jurors? Thanks, B. No way to guarantee it. There are ways to mitigate it, ways to minimize its likelihood. I love Sandlot. Had a 7th grade teacher who would spend the entire period, 49 minutes, replaying the Squints drowning scene over and over to see Wendy P. I gotta love the 90s. Forever. Christ is king. That should have gotten him fired. I'm assuming it was a he. He should have been fired. Hello from Iowa. Blessings to the Coleman family. Great show with Cassia. Thank you for continuing to seek the truth. Go Daisy. Grandma of 3 boys. Enjoy grandparenting. Best gig ever. Christ is king indeed. I love grandparenting. Got to spend a great deal of time with the granddaughter yesterday. It was fantastic. I'm going to be in severe debt with all this cap and gown wearing. Christ is king. Biggest upstate South Carolina fan. Love you, Big B. We don't charge for the cap and gownness. That's available at no cost to you. You might have to watch a commercial every now and then. But hello to all in my favorite community, where we even welcome haters and rage watchers. Yes, Kristen, we do. We actually prefer them. I'm just kidding. We don't. We want to convert them. Hi from Poland, the only place with Jesus crowned as a king legally. Today's my 30th birthday. Can you wish one quick happy birthday for Ilona? We love you. Happy birthday, Ilona. I love mini apple pies all the way from Poland. Don't call it a third party. Call it a replacement party. Structurally and statistically, the U.S. system has only room for 2 significant parties. For instance, the Republicans replaced the Whigs. Yeah, but they ran against the Whigs in that election. They just, eventually replaced them. Who are the people bringing Charlie's casket out of the hospital? I believe one of them was Harpole. And he's still wearing the same shirt, no scrubs. Oh, I'll have to go back and look at that. That's a good catch. Is that true? Did he put his shirt back on?
I think the video was the casket coming out of the medical examiner's office, and that was Dan Flood.
Oh, okay. I guess he didn't get scrubs. We got to ask Frank Turek about that. He loves to tell the truth. Elizabeth D. Lane just dropped Fascinating Podcast on Global Media Network and Military Influence. Christ is king indeed. Thank you always, Baron. Duly noted. Thank you. Helen. Charlie said he had texts calling him anti-Semite. Not comments, text. It was someone who knew him well enough to text him. It's insane. The FBI let Erika keep his phone and didn't take it into Evidink. You run out of characters. I agree that this is probably a rare situation where the phone should have been kept as evidence. What if the deal that CK turned down to go to the next level had to do with his compliance in a CO takeout? Turning this down switched him to the target. I pray for you, Candace, and all in seek of the truth. Christ is king indeed. That would help explain it was supposed to be you. Even if it wasn't a violent takeout, even if it was just like, we're going to destroy her. That's interesting. You or Tucker. That would make sense. That would make sense. Hey, Baron, love being a member of this high IQ outfit. Love the opening statements and the history. Oh, I saw a 15-year-old video and a few others of you over the weekend. Much more handsome now. Gosh, Christ is king indeed. Burn your computer. That's all I can say. Burn your computer. That's fat alcoholic Baron there. That's a different Baron. I think you gave me your icky sicky bug. You sent your ickies through the mic into my ears, and now I'm sicky icky. It's all your fault. I'm blaming you. I'll allow it, Moon Goddess. Just do your PT while you're sick. Baron, then Andrew, or greater than Andrew Wilson. Keep going, man. I don't compare myself to other people. I'm just doing my show, buddy. I don't really care about other people. Christ is king indeed, though. I do care about that. I'm lounging, feet up for the win. Oh, good. You're a good Mauser. You asked. Please keep my son Isaac in your prayers. He's 2.5 years old, autistic, and has swallowing issues. On Friday night, he choked on food, went blue, and was rushed to the hospital. Christ is king. Pray for complete healing. I certainly will do that. Pray for your son Isaac, Miss Imaribe. Goodness gracious. Swallowing issues. That's tough. Baron, I do agree with the Mike theory. It's the most plausible. The only thing I can't square is why they wouldn't just say he was in the chest with whatever cow casing the neck with. I don't think he was supposed to be hitting the neck. I think it was supposed to be the chest. But that's me. I'm old school. Hey, B, missing the live for a family dinner, but as always, I will catch up, popping in to share the love. Hope everyone had a great holiday. Hope you've been able to join us, Randy. Tell your family to bug off. You got a phone at the table and you're going to watch the show. No, I'm just kidding. I kind of kidding. Kind of. There's a lot of people going after Candace because they're saying that she is trying to get the lawsuit dropped with BH. I believe there's more to the story on this. Need a lawyer's expertise. People are ignorant. Thank you. Christ is king, indeed. I addressed that the other day, but I can't remember whether it was a live show or a member show. But what they asked for was an enlargement of time to file a responsive pleading. So someone serves you a lawsuit, that's a complaint. You have to file a responsive pleading. That could be any number of things. Typically, it's either an answer or a motion to dismiss, but it could be a number of things. But whatever that responsive pleading you're going to file has to be filed within a defined period of time. The court won't let you just hang on to it forever. Oftentimes, it's very normal for you to reach out to the other side and say, hey, I'm busy. I got a lot going on. We want to file a responsive pleading, but we're not going to make it in the 15 or 20 days that the court requires. You mind if we get an extra 30 days? And most people say, yeah, we don't care. And that's what happened. It was an unopposed motion for an enlargement of the time to file a responsive pleading. That's not a motion to dismiss. Now, maybe they will file a motion to dismiss. I don't know. I haven't talked to her legal team. I haven't talked to her about it, frankly. But we'll see. We haven't talked to her in a long time about it. First super ever. Been watching you since November. My dog likes listening too, and he would love a high IQ pup bandana to wear proudly on our walks. Go Max, Christ is king indeed. How did he tell you that? How did he let you know he wanted that? I'm not above it. And if Nurse Casey's listening, maybe she can come up with something. But I'm very curious how he told you. On this topic, Barry Trump has now started a new PAC called Transcend. Also, are you concerned that Candace could suffer damage due to these new articles? I've seen them, so am concerned. Go Tucker. I don't know what articles you're talking about. The ones I just posted up there? No. I don't think there should be any damage there. Sir B, I'm your top fan in Rochester, New York. I haven't missed a show since November. You said New York State has high ratings, but I'm curious how many other high IQ people watch in Western New York. Can you look up data? I don't know that I can get that detailed. Maybe Rochester's in there. But to look up your particular city, you'd have to be in the top 100, and it would have to be a high enough population city that it would show up anyway. I don't know where Rochester is. I can try to find out. Absolutely love you, Baron. How's the grandbaby? Perfect. Perfect. Absolutely flawless. No flaws detected so far. Third parties are now gaining momentum in the UK and Australia because people know the top two parties are heavily compromised. Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, you guys are both parliamentary systems, meaning it's not a winner-take-all scenario. In the United States, each jurisdiction only gets one representative, and that person has to get a majority. Or a plurality, maybe. But it's not like if you get a small amount, you get a small amount of representation. You have to be the top dog within your jurisdiction to get any type of victory out of it. My cousin is William Howard Taft. Fun fact. He's the reason we have presidential sizes. Stuck in the White House bathtub, and he hated being president. Presidential sizes. That doesn't surprise me that he hated being president. During the 250th celebrations, I was so hoping Charlie Kirk with family came out of the White House balcony like a hero returning from war, all bizarroness relieved, all well again with our new friends found on. If he comes back, he's a monster. I'm sorry, he is. I will be the very first to say it too. Mr. Kirk, if you're alive, you're a monster. That's all. I mean, there's no other explanation. There's no like innocent explanation. You let your family go through this. You let your company go through all this. Your nonprofit company go through all this. You tore the Republican Party seam to seam. You got everybody turned against each other. All these wars going. You would be a monster. I don't think he's alive. That's kind of one reason why. How about creating a voting criteria for high IQ voters? And I sent some Perot Schmitz campaign stuff. Now sitting at your P.O. box. Wow, I will wear that with pride. Perot stuff? I wish we would have known then what we know now. I think he would have won overwhelming. Thank you, Cohen Films. With genuine respect, anyone who's been paying attention to TC's content and behavior since independence isn't surprised, but I'm a patterns girl. Christ is king indeed. You should be a patterns girl. Everyone should be a patterns person. Please start the canned bear party. We will love it. Candy bar? No, she doesn't like candy. Or she might like candy. She doesn't like being called candy. I have no idea of her opinion of sugary sweets. Baron Lou Henner. Love your retentive mind with incredible recall. It gives HSAM vibes. You absolutely amaze me. Thank you and Daisy for all you do. Get out the truth. God bless you all. Just king indeed. Highly superior autobiographical memory. Rare condition where individuals can recall vast specific details of their daily personal lives dating back to childhood, often associating specific dates with the exact day of the week and surrounding event. I don't think I'm afflicted with such a disease. But I do pay attention. My B, hope you and fam had a happy 4th. We had our first tinfoil hat party. Highly recommend. That's the most wholesome, eye-opening fun you can have. That sounds fun. Sounds fun. Earlier years in Nicaragua. Upbringing ideology VOA. His denial in CIA is weak. Having a path like the left is ridiculous. Never denied A. Jones' claims and leading organizing fighting for the Contra. I'm assuming you're talking about Tucker Carlson. I don't know. 2, like you, I won't vote. No changing either way. I didn't say I won't vote, but I have criteria, and there are going to be very few people who can match it. I may leave a lot of blank votes when I go in. Edge, dear sir, doing a flyby early. More 4th plans tonight. But it's the 5th. It's the 5th, and the show's on. You were busy. We'll catch up. And watched Ana Escobar. We share feelings about Frank Turek in the SUV. Frank isn't okay. Well, I tend to agree. Can someone from the Barron team please use your cell phone during the live and see how the Jules gifts were in the chat and are distracting from the show and squashing engagement? Please? No, they can't. I've explained this on a couple of shows. I will do it one more time, and I'm never touching it again. And we're going to start deleting comments that complain about it. Because here's the deal on these. YouTube started a new program with these things. It's a way to compensate creators. No one was buying them, so they went out and gave a bunch of free ones away. Well, the thing is, when you give the free ones away, we get the monetary benefit. Now, it's not a lot. So like one might be 30 cents or 50 cents, but they add up. And I don't know too many people who are out there doing their job. If their boss came by and said, hey, here's $20, they would go, no, I don't want it. You know, it's a very expensive to run an organization and to put the production on and to do all the, you know, all the stuff that required to run a show. Every little bit helps offset that. So my guess is Katie Graham, honorary gypsy. As a gypsy, you should really never turn it down. You should understand more than anybody. My guess is after the free ones go away, everyone's going to, no one's going to buy these things again. They'll all go away. But, you know, if you have any free ones in your bank, go ahead and send them. Not necessarily to me, but send them to your favorite creator because they're getting paid. And I went back and added up how much since they've launched this program. It's not insignificant. It's a few $100. I don't know anybody who's just turning money down, you know, and it goes towards the program. It goes towards allowing us to continue to do this. So while I appreciate your concern, I genuinely understand it. Just let this week or 2 or 3 weeks, however long these things last, let it go by. This is not going to last forever. The only reason people are sending them is because they didn't pay for them. 3, been fickle with podcasters. I am home. Love you. Christ is king indeed. Oh, you've been fickle with podcasters since everything happened. I understand that. I understand that. But I thank you for checking in, Dara. I appreciate it. Do we get Uncle Buckley too? Kristen, you mean on this program? I'll ask him. I would love to have Uncle Buckley on this program. Love to have Uncle Buckley. What she's referencing is Tuesday, I will be recording with Buckley Carlson and Clint Russell on the Liberty Lockdown podcast. I think it will go live on Wednesday. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to ask him not to premiere it while I'm on air. You know, do it in the morning or the afternoon at least. Great opening, Baron. I'm standing with Tucker, Massey, MTG, etc. Right now, the Uniparty needs an alternative. Money will determine if it grows legs. It always does with politics. King B, Christine Fakit asked her crowd to remind you she'd love to do your show. She's got some explosive new sources. Explosive? Is that a clue? Libertarian here. We don't have a comprehensive doctrine because we are more in the middle. Both parties reject us if we don't toe their entire line. Yeah, I don't even know what you guys believe. I mean, that's kind of the problem. Like, you got to have something, some core that you believe on. Like this and no further. We will never abandon this principle. Baron, biggest fans in Tipton, Indiana. My family loves your show. Could you please give my kids Carson and Sawyer a shout out? Certainly can. Carson and Sawyer. Where is Tipton, Indiana? I feel like I've been there. Maybe not. Let me look. Yeah, I've never been there. Kind of out in the middle, though. Near Kokomo, for those of you keeping track at home. Not the Tom Cruise Kokomo, or the Beach Boys Kokomo. Different Kokomo. Kokomo, Indiana. Listening and scheduled trip to Salt Lake. My son has a college orientation for the U. There's a mountain peak, Farnsworth Peak. Anyway, still getting used to the idea. Utah will be a place I visit a lot over the next 4 years. Crazy times. Christ is king indeed. Bless you, my B. I'm sure I'll have a great time. Utah seems clean, beautiful. People look friendly. I mean, I've been to Salt Lake. It was nice. I was only there a couple days, but had a good time. Satanists run the EU, the UK, EU, and USA. They love war. They run more than that. I got bad news for you. Not just those 3. Just like they did with Trump, they will mask with the America First movement, then flip once in office. We're an occupied nation. No point in voting anymore. We're cooked. Maybe, but I don't know. We'll see. I hope a third party could happen. I've always been a don't waste a vote voter, but Trump has me done. I will not vote R, maybe for Massey. Christ is king indeed. Trump has harmed the party potentially beyond repair. I will just say it flat out. Just like George Bush did with the read my lips, no new taxes, and then he immediately flip-flops and does taxes, and then all of a sudden everybody hates the Republican Party. Same thing. You can't run on no new foreign wars and then launch a war against someone who's not been an aggressor. You just can't. Hey, everyone, join me live all week, starting tomorrow for the Tyler Robinson preliminary hearings on Trigger Smart Live. Let's witness history together. Hit that like for Baron. Yeah, I've had several people offer for me to jump on with. I can't because I'm going to be putting a show together. But yeah, Trigger Smart will do a good job. I'll probably have it up. Thank you. Tucker might have been priming Charlie to run for president on a third-party ticket. I doubt it. My B, Southwest Wisconsin are in here. I've been here since the Joe crash out. Oh, welcome in. Brilliant homeschooling mom of 5 brought me here. Lost my dad in April. So grateful for the community to distract me and help me not feel alone. Go Max. Amy, you're never alone here. We're a family. I mean that in a good way, not the Erika way. UK's third parties. Restore Britain's Rupert Lowe going on Joe Rogan this week. Great, as the legacy media machine will not platform it. I do not pay to license fee, all pounds going on podcasts. I don't know what a license fee is, but I wish you the best. I don't follow politics over there very closely. I got Sympathy Sicky Icky, definitely number 1 fan of all time. And Place, I'm taking the title because I'm paying for it dearly. Only me getting sympathy sick. Well, Mrs. Coleman got sympathy sick, but it might be because she lives with me. But she did get sick. I become very stressed out and hate to be negative, but I need to express it. I'm very worried nothing will come of this hard work. There's so much corruption. It seriously has me stressed out. Not with that attitude. Been here since Google Trends. Often fall asleep towards the end of your lives. In my dreams, I too have joined the investigation. We're all great friends and we hang out all the time. Well, Carol. What's funny about that is I fall asleep listening to podcasts all the time. And I cannot tell you how many times I've been on that podcast while they're talking and I'm trying to talk and they're not listening. I'm like, well, is this thing not on? Checking my mic. I'm like, why is this not working? Hello? Can you hear me? And then I wake up to realize I was just listening to their podcast. Like I've been on with Dave Smith. I've been on with Clint Russell. I've been on with Trigger Smart. I was on the Zach Costello show not long ago. Happens a lot. You didn't even mentioning RFK Jr.? In what context? Saw a video of Adele saying she also doesn't have password for socials. Pretty common practice, maybe. Adele is a performer. She sings songs. No one cares what she says about politics. No one cares if anything on her social media is from the heart. But when someone's weighing in on the supposedly what is their political opinion, only to find out it's Andrew Colvett, that's a problem. Baron watching and waiting for the football. Exquisite work as always. We never miss a show. I heard the England guys were getting sabotaged. That's what I heard. I heard that there were people outside their hotels, Mexican fans outside their hotels. I'm not using it pejoratively. I mean like fans of Mexico, the team. Outside the England hotel making all kinds of racket all night. That's just what I heard. Best of luck to you, Brits. If you talk to Candace before I do, let her know I have a bone to pick with her about doing Shawn Ryan. He didn't deserve her presence. Acting shocked about half the stuff he was saying about TPUSA's actions. He's unreal. I don't know if I will or not. How often you talk to her, Adriana? I mean, it's not an uncommon reaction to that episode. I've heard that more than once, that people were a little confused. Like, why did he have her on if he has no idea what's going on? But she's the hottest ticket in town. And a lot of people have watched it. Millions of people have watched that show. Do you think the scripture was code or a signal to her people? Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a great question. Looking back. That's a really great question, looking back. Wow, I'm going to have to go back and read it again. She rocks. If that is your real name. Excellent opening statement. Tucker's amazing. Thank you, Paula. I tend to agree. I like Tucker quite a lot. I believe MM was on the phone with someone as the boom went off. Who? Someone wanted to hear it. No one can dial the phone as fast as he did. Christ is king indeed. Just understand, I mean, from his story, he's saying he was doing this and plugging his ears. making him one of only 3 people that day to plug their ears that we can find. I'm not sure he was alive that long. From a medical standpoint, when the carotid artery is severed, you have an average of 2 to 5 minutes, depending on how many liters of blood he was losing per minute. Now, that's assuming the carotid artery was severed. There's some belief that might have been a vein that was severed. Not that he wouldn't be losing a lot of blood, but not as much. I think they tell her before as well. They are too protective over her publicly not to tell her, I think. This is why I don't like pronouns. I have no idea what you're talking about. Hey, B, watching all the celebrations of our 250th birthday made me feel so proud and so sad. Tammy, why so sad? I thought so many times how Charlie deserved to be here for it. He loved this country and was so dedicated to its betterment. Oh, that's why you're sad. Yeah, I watched that Tucker Carlson interview he did with Charlie Kirk from back, I think it was July or August of last year. About a year ago now. Maybe 11 months ago. It was hard to watch. I'll be honest. I stopped it 3 or 4 times. Because he would say something, I was like, ooh, that could have got him killed. And he'd say something else like, ooh, that could have got him killed. Like the whole first 20 minutes was him bashing the intelligence community. Like, Ixnay on the Intel A, immunity K. Victor Marx gives me the heebie-jeebies. Well, you're not the only one. I've been heebie-jeebied. Greed-eyed ninja nurse. I bet people are scared to see you walk in the room. I think it's perfect time for another choice to rise up. Third party has the best chance now. I hope it can be safeguarded from infiltration, corruption. I think, thank you for what you do. Jesus loves you, and so do I. Christ is king indeed. I go back and forth on it. Man, it's just, there's so much infrastructure in place in each of the parties. It's just hard for me to believe that could be replicated. Or maybe it's not needed anymore. I don't know. Maybe that's old school. I know who told Jack Hibbs. It was Amir Safadi. He's Jack's best friend. 1,000% sure of this. Who is that? Okay. Behold, Israel. I'm very interested to know how much blood he lost per minute. Not in a weird way, just a time of death way. Well, probably be an estimate at best. Why did DK need a police escort to the hospital? It's a good question. I don't know. That I really don't know. I don't know that at all. I didn't even think about it. She's not anybody. She's just the wife of a guy who died. Ron Paul would have been a great independent ticket. Didn't he try that once? Or did he run a Republican every time? Frank stating they got a pulse at the hospital because Charlie was a very healthy man sounds similar to Andrew's tweet about the bullet Superman neck. Correct. Both bull butter. He was either alive the whole time or they never got a pulse back. There was none of this like, hey, he was dead for 45 minutes and all of a sudden they got a pulse back. That ain't how biology works, big boy. I ain't buying it. Victor Marx lives in Colorado Springs. Then Erika got named to the board of the USAF Academy in the same city. I'm sure there's no coincidence since wives are besties. He knew security plan 910. I don't know if that last sentence is accurate. I don't like. I used to live in a town with a military base. I couldn't have gotten anybody appointed anything on that base. And am interested in your thoughts on Stacey Sheridan. That's better than I can verbalize it. Glenn Beck tweeted that Charlie was stable in like a hoodie. What is that? Okay. Number 1, MC on TCK show. Days after 9/10 stated, I didn't want to mess this thing up. Just days after 9/10, EK posted some sort of poem on social media, IG saying, I'm not your secretary. I don't know who these people are. I believe you. I don't think you would lead us astray, but I don't know. Total circulating blood volume about 5 liters. Class 4 hemorrhagic shock would be at 40% blood loss. Yeah, I believe you. I'm not doubting it. 2944 in the behavioral arts video called Charlie Kirk's Security Story. Doesn't make sense. 7 months ago, Harpole touches his left lower chest when he says he saw the wound. I don't know. Haven't seen it. TV show called The Agency, second season. Came out in June. Has a scene where agents are in an explosive lab testing remotely detonated explosives in a small device to see effect on a gel head dummy. Well, that sounds bad. Can you explain the importance of voter registration or lack thereof? Pros, cons of leaving a party registration? Well, I mean, if you're in a state that requires you to be registered with a particular party to vote in the primary, you just won't be able to vote in the primary. And that's the con. The pro is you can vote in the primary. That's the pro. If you're in a state that doesn't require it, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're probably not registered. Like, we're not registered in a party here. You just walk up to the desk and they say, do you want a Democrat ballot or a Republican ballot? Just ask for it. You are the USA Sherlock Holmes. Oh. What if Erika's X account going active was the go sign? The message told folks what to do. Second message confirmed or gave details, allegedly. Look, I'm not ruling that out at all. Not even remotely would I rule that out. I'm not ruling out anybody. Anytime somebody is dark on social media for a long time, more than a year, 2 years, something like that, and then the day before or 2 days before something happens, all of a sudden they start going live, I got to know. Finally made it to a live stream, even though I'm late. Thanks for all you do. Keep going, Max. Number one fan in the massive town of Leonard, Minnesota. Never been there. I'm sure it's huge. Isaac Cappy also had a mysterious death while calling out PDFs. He also called out Laura Loomer, Jack P., etc., for being foreign assets before 2020. Very familiar with the Isaac Cappy story. Very, very, very familiar. Saw Alex Jones interviewing a guy named Jesse on Fire. Checked his YouTube. Is it possible Charlie faked his own death? Seems too far-fetched. Apologize for my grammar. English second language. Christ is king indeed. No apologies necessary. That's better than a lot of people whose English is their first language. I've had Jesse on our member show, and we didn't talk about that really. But I've talked to him off air quite a bit about it. I don't think it's possible he's alive. I think if he was alive, he's an absolute monster. And I just don't believe it. Stacy displaced in AZ due to Palisades fire. Could arsonists be connected to get her? No, I doubt they burned down 1 million homes or whatever it was to get her to relocate. She just sold her house and moved. Like, that'd been easy. No, I'm not buying that. That's too big. Frank Turk is deranged. No question yet. No. Close up shop, guys. We got all we got to say has been said. Besides all the corruption, silence of anyone at the hospital is still mind-blowing. Someone surely saw something useful. Charlie Kirk shirt. Could be any number of things. I'd like to hear from somebody at the hospital who said, yeah, I'm the one who passed out the scrubs. They all needed clothes because they were too bloody. I don't know, man. Just tell me something. Wickles Dirty Deals today. Everybody loved them. Thank you. I would never lead you wrong, Claudia. Everything I say is valuable. Sort of. But thank you. Thanks for the feedback. From the motorcade to the speech to the wardrobe. EK cream suit, all meticulously scripted. Who is left yet to buy this played out media farce? That's a good question. I have no idea why people still buy this. Have you heard about John Wall residency issues in Alabama? Driver's license both Tennessee and Alabama, registered to vote in both too. Even heard questions about maybe having 2 social security numbers. Thoughts? None. No thoughts. I mean, I'm familiar with it, but I have no thoughts. Wow. 5:20 p.m. God time. Cassia was hit with a copyright by TPUSA after today's show ended. What did she show? What did she show? Oh, please. What was your copyright notice about? Question mark. Thank you. I need your prayers. I have a hearing with the DMV because my doc turned me in, even though I've never passed out. I've been fighting since April. Well, we need to pray for blue-eyed concubine. Let's hope that's an ironic title there. Let's hope that's not real. I'll pray for you. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I hope it goes well. Baron, maybe the casket had the mic in it to pick up anything anyone said. Maybe it was a trap for something someone, still morbid and twisted, but I doubt it. I understand why you're saying that, but I doubt it because then how did they know it existed if it was a secret? And how did they access it? Maybe. Either way, it's weird. Don't play it. Stop it. EK was not scared to be mic'd to perform, allegedly. Oh. I wouldn't have worn one of these. If I was her, I'd be like, no, you got a DJI. I got some. Don't hand me a Shure SM58 either. No, I want something. Give me a Sennheiser. Not the redaction between VM legs again. Well, if I knew why he was redacting it, I'd stop pointing it out. 6 ton and 25 timestamp shows 3 hour 30 minute makes it 250. He walked in, fed slot started at 2:55. Logic. He was there before 3. I'm starting to think that. I have reason to believe he was there early afternoon that they turned him in. I have reason to believe that. Not making that up. Please explain why it's not extremely bizarre that Air Force 2 VP Second Lady went to pick up the body of a regular civilian, not political or military. I've never been able to wrap my head around that part. I struggle with it myself, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's not something I focus on because there's no way to get to the bottom of it, but I struggle with that myself. Casket scene is beyond disturbing. Yeah, not in a good way. Not like watching a scary movie and just trying to get a thrill. It's like creepy, real life stuff. Lapel mic on for speech, and it was live at Casket. No, they wouldn't. That's too far away. She had different clothes on too, didn't she? I too believe he was still with us in the SUV, Baron. I do. I just do. I'm not saying he was like up and walking around or anything, but I think he was alive. O'Reilly reinvented himself as a full-time best-selling author. He's arguably more successful now, just changed genres. Well, he was a best-selling author before he went off the O'Reilly factory. First, it's all performance always. Secondly, why does her son never get spoken about by her or anyone? Little guy's almost non-existent when it comes to any time she ever speaks about them. Well, you notice how I pointed out she wasn't wearing the M ring that day? Something weird about that. And it wasn't just that day. She wasn't wearing the M ring at the Zoom call either. If you go back and look at the Zoom call where she's like weirdly laughing about emojis, she doesn't have that ring on. So she has the Gigi ring. She doesn't have the Mac ring. Why? Now, maybe it was like in the shop. I don't know. You got rings that big, they got to get tuned up. It's like a V8. You got to like make sure the carburetor's running right. Unfortunately, I've been widowed twice. Wow. Could not in a million years imagine having the reactions or lack of that EK has had. Thank you for all your work. Keep speaking the truth. My friends, if she gets widows on that jury, Tyler Robinson is not going to prison. There's not anyone on that jury who's going to buy anything she does in court. And I don't know what she's going to do, but they're not going to buy it. Why was the body released so quickly? No way here in Scotland would a person who was murdered be released until all investigations completing. I've asked myself the same question. Do they always release murder victims within like 12 hours? Because that's weird. That seems stupid fast to me for a murder victim. I remember in one of Erika's speeches, she said she writes all of her own speeches. Of course, that has no bearing on whether that statement is true. That's key. If she wrote that speech, I want to know when. I just want to know when, because that's why I went over the timeline. When did she write that? Because the decision was made at 9 a.m., 9:12 a.m. to put her on air that night. When did they have time to make that decision? Like it was nonstop. Basically, Charlie's body tending to nonstop that whole time. At some point, they're like, hey, you want to do a speech tonight? She's like, yeah, sure. Huh? Creepy. AB Widow here. Graveside burials all the time of cremated ashes in an urn. Both my in-laws were buried this way at a veterans cemetery. 21 gun salute for my father-in-law. It's actually very normal. Yeah, except the people that were there saw a casket, not an urn. Coffin moment sent me. When my husband passed, I went in by myself to have my last moment with him. Oh. Ooh, that hit. I don't know why that hit. That hit me hard. It's tough. I'm sorry to hear that. The internet is undefeated. The comments are wild. They are indeed. Did Erika have burns on her knees? 910, Scottsdale, 100 plus degrees outside would cause at least second degree burns. And she's wearing jeans. I don't know. I'm not going to. That's not the reason I'm questioning her. Not the reason I'm questioning her. But I'll tell you, I was in Phoenix a few weeks ago and it was like 109. It was hot. I don't buy that dry heat business. Everyone who says that will lie to you about anything else. It's hot. To be fair, a memorial service can be held after the cremation with the urn present. That's okay. Otherwise, carry on. Entire thing staged. Again, the people that were there, they saw a casket. Was it empty? Because that's even weirder. Did they take his body afterwards? Because that's even weirder. If not, where's the body? Is it in the ground? Why won't we just give confirmations in the ground? Erika's tweets, taste and see. Rick Cutler made a ministry, taste and see. Really? I have photos of Rick Cutler holding something black in hand before he puts it on his sleeve. After the item is put on in his tight sleeve while carrying Charlie's sleeve is loose. So I know the photo you're talking about on the hand. I don't know about the sleeve. I'll have to go back and look at that. Thank you. There's another voice in that video. If that's the person holding the phone, then Erika would be heard more distant than the other person, but it sounds like Erika's closer than who's holding the phone recording. Yes, I noticed that as well. There was another more distant voice, but I don't know who it was. But it sounded like they were talking to her. So it sounded like she was closer than the person holding the phone. I did a super chat to watch this. Oh, dear Jen, thank you. You didn't have to, but that's very kind of you. Great opening. Sounds like someone's whispering behind her, telling her what to say as she lies in the casket. It's really creepy. Were they telling her what to say? Hold, please. I'm going to go back and listen to it again. Well, we'll all listen together. Were they telling her what to say? Surely not.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I know. I love you. So much. I love you. God bless you.
Yeah, I don't think that person was giving her the lines because she wasn't repeating the lines that were given there. It sounded like someone was, I don't know what's going on. Guys, stop being weird. All right? Stop it. Stop it. Stop the performative crap and just be normal. Just be a normal place. Love it when our humble host lashes out. Oh, lashes out. Get it? I didn't think about that. She was lashing out on us. Last update 30-6 with my Man of Steel deck. Don't try this at home, kids. Rick Cutler photos. Item clearly in hand. Yeah, I know what photos you're talking about. Long live Erika Fronsfeld. Indeed. I think everyone should live a long, healthy life. I don't think people should be harmed. I'm a equal opportunity pacifist. I just am. When did they do the autopsy? Overnight, first night, early morning, 9/11. He was in Mortuary, cosmetics in her video. Are we sure they really did one? Thanks, Bubba Barron and Daisy, for all that you do. That's actually a good question. I assume Daisy knows the answer. I assume it was done the night. Or no, I know when it was. It was like 10 a.m. on the 11th. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Or 9 a.m. on the 11th. Which means it would have been very quick. Because didn't they fly him out that same day? Or they fly him out on the 12th? I have to go back and look at it. Let me look here. Yeah, I think it was done early that morning, if I'm not mistaken. Now, can you do a proper analysis of a body to determine cause of death and find everything you had to find and all in 6-8 hours. I don't know how long that stuff normally takes. Not my bailiwick. But I'm pretty sure, if I remember, it was the morning. And then they would have flown to the mortuary. He would have arrived that night, 9/11, at 6:37 p.m. They would have unloaded him at 6:43 p.m., 5:43 p.m. Arizona time, and then they would have had until the next morning to get him prepped for the very creepy casket shot. Like, get up in the casket, girl. That's creepy. The tight-knit high IQ community is so in sync. You guys are checking in on each other all at the same time live. I died laughing. I've watched clips a few times since. Go Max, and Christ is key. Indeed. Oh, so you're talking about when I broke in on Coach's show? It happened. Coach was covering something, and he was cracking himself up, and apparently he didn't feel like he was having a serious moment. He's like, I wonder what Barron's covering right now, because thinking I cover something serious. And he broke in, and I was like, and he broke in as I was reading the comment, and it mentioned him. And I was like, I think Coach is going live tonight at like 7. Let's see if he's live yet. And I pulled him up, and he's watching me, and I'm watching him. It was great. He put a clip of it up. You should go find it. It was fantastic. EK said she and CK got death threats often and weren't scared. Well, they've changed their mind, as they should. I stopped watching this high IQ outfit to watch this. Don't stop. How many times a lone shooter been exonerated in high-profile political shooting and government suspect involved? Do you think TR will be the first? We got to see what evidence they have. I stopped hiding in the silk draped to watch this. AK stays wearing dark eye makeup and lashes. No woman does that with high possibility of getting emotional. All performative. Shawn Ryan comments were gold. Yeah, something Daisy pointed out to me is fake lashes is like like death. Or tears are death to fake lashes. I didn't know that. Homeschool Mama 4, wish we could have had more. We should do a member show with wifey. I've asked. Can't make her do it. Mark's legs, Malinois. Security dog nose snooping. I don't know. Why would you black a dog out? You don't want us to see little Fluffy's whisker pattern? Oh, he's got 4 little black whiskers at the top. I turned down an offer from the Beebster to take my organization to the next level to watch this. Oh, good. I got bad news for you. It doesn't always end well. They will more likely plot an attempt on Erika and blame Candace for it. Oh, let's not even talk like that. No, let's not even talk like that. I don't even want to entertain that. No, let's not even. Golly. That's dark. Hope that's not true. Switch hemispheres to watch this. Back in Cape Town soon. Oh, yeah. You going back to the fake Southern Hemisphere? Yeah, we know that's not real. But Baron, does that mean you believe in a flat Earth? No, it just means I don't believe in the Southern Hemisphere. Not real. I never met anybody from down there. Dr. Francevey was getting threats before Charlie's death. I thought she said they were used to it. Why are they blaming CO for something that's been happening for years? Well, nobody should be getting any threats. I mean, that's just nonsensical. Hey, Baron, awesome show. Why is it so critical for Erika to be the CEO? So sad that we'll get away with TR. Patsy feels like we have no power. I feel like they thought we would buy it and that it would help. Like, I mean, imagine that it was that they offed him. They were like, well, if we put him in there, no one will notice. Or if we put her in there, no one will notice. They'll just love it. They'll be so emotionally enthralled. Well, that didn't work. Read Shawn Ryan comments again. Can you please do an opening on Michael Jackson? We're doing a lot of digging, and have you learned so much? And I think more people need to hear about it. I would also just love to hear your thoughts. Maybe. I'm not ruling it out. I think the majority of these threats are paid for bots. I haven't seen one threatening comment towards Dr. F in your or Candace comment section from Iceland. Edith, I haven't either. That's why I don't want to make light of it, because if she is getting threats, that's horrific and people shouldn't be doing that, period. So I'll side with her on that. If that's happening, people need to stop. And then you get to the bottom of it. But don't hold Candace responsible. That's ludicrous. We need to figure out, work with X to figure out who's running the account and hold them accountable. Nobody should be threatening anybody. I just report him when I see him. Your Majesty, King Baron, please don't refer to Erika as a Scandinavian. We do not claim her. She's a demon without a heritage. Love you. God bless. That sounds awfully threatening. We'll say Kent was Scandinavian. One of two. Can anyone find the clip where she says she was virgin when she met Charlie? I didn't think much of it back in September. It vanished. Have you seen it? I've never even heard of it. I think it'd be foolish if she said that. Article referring to CO creating permission structures. That's almost a direct Shapiro quote from one of his books. Guaranteed he's involved. Interesting. Very retired fire captain from AZ. We call Mississippi roast mud on the fire department. It's a staple that we season with gravy and ranch powders and pepperoncinis. Amazing. With love from the Kidder Leader box. Christ is king indeed. Hey, dude, throw a stick of butter in there and you got a Mississippi roast. What are you talking about? that's the recipe. A package of au jus gravy, a package of ranch powder, a jar of pepperoncinis with liquid, stick of butter, 8 hours in the slow cooker, or an hour and a half in the crock pot or in the Instapot. You just nailed a Mississippi roast. That's it. Brian Harpole on Shawn Ryan said that J.D. Vance called while at the hospital to ask what they needed. Brian Harpole said an autopsy because he told them it would take 2 to 3 days. Very unsettling. Go Max. If it's true, I don't believe anything he says. If it's true, if that story is true, that's awful, because the fact that he would be thinking of some sort of conspiratorial angle akin to JFK at that moment when he had just carried his client like a side of beef into an SUV and wheeled him at 60, 80, 100 miles an hour, his words, not mine, with the door open into the hospital. And now you're going, oh, we need an autopsy so people don't think this is weird. That means you think it's weird. Yo, my B. Great show. I don't know how anyone observes EK and thinks that's normal behavior. And at the same time, they think we're the crazy ones. It's desperate for some reason. Money, lots of new trolls on X. Oh, I think it's money for sure. Oh, 2 of 2. This is the 1 of 2 earlier. It's both of them at the same stage. He says it and she repeats it like, yes, we both saved ourselves. The nerve, the act. Poor guy. I haven't seen that. If someone can find that clip and email it to me, put Erika Virgin in the title. Don't send me anything else with that title. Just that. I'll look at it. I've never seen that. I don't believe it for a second either. I love this emoji now. Might be my new favorite. Thank you for keeping this investigation alive. Christ is king. You talking about that one? Thank you. That was very generous. Thank you. I maintain to this day that Johnnie Moore has some fruit in his boots as well as some sugar in his tank. Keep up the good work. Bless the haters. He would not be the only one in Republican Party politics. In the commentariat class, in the staff class. I mean, staff in the traditional sense of the word, like staff and organization. He wouldn't elected officials. He would not be the first. He would not be the first. Nor would he be the 1,000th. A lot of them. A lot of them work at TPUSA. These Bible verses just before an alleged conspiracy to assassinate Charlie Kirk smack of spycraft. Do we have any code breakers in the jury? Keep pushing B. Let me get back to it. You guys have me all weirded out now. I'm going to look at these. Let me get these pulled up. I'll be interested if somebody can crack this. I mean, this is, for it's by grace you've been saved through faith. This is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of work, so that no one may boast. What version is that? Is that NIV? Let's see if we can find the version. Maybe that'll help. Let's see if we can find that exact version. ESV. Let's see what the next one is. The second one ESV as well. Let's see. Bing, 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 bing. NIV. They're two different versions. That's weird. Who uses two different versions? You might be onto something. Who uses two different versions? I'm a NABRA guy. Actually, I do have two different Bibles back there. Whose pick is blacked out behind you on the wall? Oh, Tracy, you just outed yourself as a newbie. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to task you with going back about 60 episodes and figuring it out yourself. If you go back and pick a random episode and it's not blacked out, then you haven't gone back far enough. Keep going back. But you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. It's been a long-running theme of this show for a long time. And it's not blacked out. The picture was removed, trashed, torn up and trashed. It was not blacked out. I'm an OR nurse at level 1. I'd question the time frame getting in an OR, smaller level 3 hospital, only 10 ORs. Getting a coding patient in an OR in 20 minutes is fast. No ambulance to alert, OR to ready a room. It's hard to believe. Well, that's interesting. That's really interesting. I hadn't considered that. Went on that date after all those years. It was pretty awkward and nerve-wracking. Any fatherly how to navigate it all? Also, please praise for us again. Your prayers seem to reach heaven. Love you, Mr. B. No, I don't have any advice for you. My advice is pray. Pray. But thank you for the update. This is fascinating to follow along. Like I'm invested now, so you gotta have to give me the follow-up and let me know. But I will pray for you. I'll pray for you. Sir Baron, number 1 fan from Voorhees, New Jersey. TPUSA posting on XSCK. Now reply, shut up, Andrew. IQ outfit, we're calling out liars. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, we do. We should. I like that. Wasn't Voorhees? Wasn't that the name of the Lisa Tuttle character on Saved by the Bell? Wasn't she a Voorhees? Lisa Turtle? What's her real name? Yeah, Lark Voorhees. Don't challenge me, guys. Don't challenge me. Her real name is Voorhees, Lark Voorhees. Baron Road mics are made in Sydney, Australia. Undeniable proof that Australia is real and us Aussies do exist. Stay huge down under, mate. You're not going to get me that easy. You can put a word on anything you want. You're going to come at me with those ridiculous animals, platypuses. What else y'all got down there? Kangaroos. You think those are real? Stop it. Stop it. Timing of her interview with Shawn Ryan seems a little fishy after this info. The interview with Harpole seemed fishy at the time. Maybe a Fed. Timing of her interview with Shawn Ryan. What would we about that? I don't know. I don't know what you mean. Tell me why the timing is fishy. Not just that you think it's fishy. You make this world a better place. Christ is King. Love you. Indeed. Indeed, Christ is King. Not I make the world a better place, but thank you. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. I stopped printing the jumbo podium poster propaganda to watch this. Oh, well. You have to get back to work. I stopped running a Romanian orphanage to send this. Oh, gosh. Hunter Kozak, family tied to Jimmy Kimmel. Andrew Colvette tied with Jimmy Kimmel. Erika does Weiss interview with Hunter Kozak there. She may be a psychopath. We did a whole show on that. I think 2 shows on that. The Hunter Kozak, Jimmy Kimmel connection. Not sure if you saw him, Ralph. Not the original Ralph Cramden, surely. I'm late, so someone may have mentioned this already, but is it possible the fake lashes are extensions that only need to be touched up every few weeks? Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that was a thing. They don't call you a dompterist because you are. They call you that so they can take you out. Like CK. This is when I admit I don't know what a domturist is. And I wish I hadn't Googled it because now I got that on my. It did not come up with an answer. Apparently, that was a typo, but it came up with a lot of other things that I didn't want in my Google search history. Wolves of Finance, new 7 theories of CK's death. Thank you. But Baron SS was recording EK over the casket. When we hear SS talking louder than EK, I can hear someone behind EK in the background. That's also weird, right? Thanks for all you do. Christ is king indeed. Yes, it's weird. You're telling it's weird. If she wasn't mic'd, I don't know. I don't want to do anything crazy, but like I don't know. I'll eat something gross. I think she was. And that's got to be explained. I'm sorry, but they just don't know when to shut the blank up. Ivan, they really believe we're stupid. Don your little hats, mount your little horses, and ride. Enough. Christ is king indeed. I stopped renting apartments to trafficked immigrant models to post this. Well, the Johnnie Moore side of this is trigger. Oh, maybe adapt a new exclamation phrase. The way Charlie was treated from the moment his eyes closed is so sad. How they carried him to the car, that eerie drive to the ER, the casket photo op. Yeah. Like a piece of meat, all of it. Great show. You never disappoint. Oh, you never disappoint, Hope Bean. Enough time to sit, watch, and listen intently on my big screen with popcorn. Thank you, Christ is king indeed. Put a little extra butter on there for me, would you? Because I can't have it. Police scanner, 9:37 p.m. from hospital, September 10, 2025. Could you contact the next wrecker that's on rotation and just see about how much it would cost to tow a 10,000-pound vehicle to Salt Lake City? Another... would that be the Tahoe or the Yukon? How much does a Yukon Denali? No, not 10,000. Wonder what that was. We don't want the TPUSA exec team to come to any physical ailments. We want to keep them safe so they can slowly wither away in prison after a fair trial, of course. Well, or just suffer with their count of money, Cristo. Conscience. Crawled out of my dead husband's casket to watch this. Oh, Lord. You guys are awful. Hold, please. New dot just connected. Victor and Eileen Marx moved their family to Iraq. Right around shortly after Johnnie Moore was in Iraq. Their missionary did at least 8 missions by 2019. They moved their family to Iraq? Much love. Thank you. I had never heard that. Stop selling, I mean saving Romanian children to watch this. I stopped whispering over Charlie Kirk's dead body to watch this. Oh, gosh. Long live Erika Francevay. Indeed. Long, healthy life. So are we thinking Andrew rebooted Erika's X account in anticipation of her being new CEO? Can GPS be acquired on login for X account? Christ is king indeed. I don't know why. I don't know if you can reboot or you can find the location. I don't know. I'm assuming X logs that, but I don't know. But you know what I need to do? I need to look and see if anybody commented on September 8th, because I got all these comments after the fact. I don't know that anyone even commented on this. Was it even public at that time? I mean, the thing is, no one knew who she was. Like, I was reading a guy on X today. He's like, you could have paid me $10 million on September 10th. I would not have been able to name his wife. Like, I follow politics and couldn't have named his wife. Finally able to catch a live. Brandon's quickly risen to the top of my podcaster favorites. Love the content, style, and delivery. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Carrie. Very kind of you. You guys are overwhelmingly kind at times. Love you, B. Ordered merch. Can't wait to get it. Why did the Trump admin have so much involvement in CK's memorial? Has this ever happened before? If so, I've never noticed. I've never seen it. Not with a public figure. Would a crematory boom with explosive residue on body? No. I stopped studying for my doctorate at Liberty U to watch this. Love your show, B. Christ is King indeed. She, too, stopped studying for her doctorate. Colvette is now denying the Beebster. Made an offer to take TPUSA to the next level. He's a known liar, and I expect eventually evidence will come out and expose him on this issue. Well, he is, I think, a proven liar. He even admitted it himself that he wanted to lie, and Charlie said no. Hi, Bear. My husband likes to sit through all your super chats. Hey, babe. I'm finally super chatting with the Baron. We love how you hit back at the liars like a blind man with a lightsaber. Keep it up. Hey, your husband sounds brilliant. First, you knocked it out of the park, sir. Well done. MSG continue to Salt Lake City. If they want to have medical response at their discretion, vehicles possibly black, extended cab, or four-door looking long bed, shedding a ton of damage. There's more airport pickup stuff. Well, I mean, it might have been a wreck in town. We don't know that it's related. It's a big town. I mean, I'll look into it. Baron, what if Erika's tweets were to send a coded message to our greatest ally or anyone? Think CK fighting in van, so they tased him and blanked him. Well, I don't know that. I don't. Something was going on in the car. Cops saw it. Should be on camera. Keep up the great programming, Crisis King indeed. That said, be humble. I've asked for prayers in the past. I didn't get what I thought I was asking for, but God provided a much more meaningful way. Oh, man, do we both have that story in mind? That's happened to me many times. Would EK have the Secret Service and motorcade in Utah for the trial? Does she have that much protection on our tax dollar? No, she has Secret Service protection. No. Hey, B. Bench, watch your Clips channel. It's great. Crisis King indeed. Yeah, we got a great editor. One day he may allow me to out him, but he's fantastic. He does a great, great job. Out him as to his name, not anything else. He does a really, really good job. So if you're not a member of the Clips channel, you should be. Baron Coleman Clips, you'll find it. Super easy. Baron, I never get to catch lives. You inspired me to start a channel. I hope anyone who wants current news with Catholic biblical lens and hope will check out Hopefully Ever After Pod. Love, Jury, and Crisis King indeed. I'm a big fan of people starting channels, so thank you for sharing that. You guys are getting close. The pressure's on. They had to call in Johnnie Moore to help distract. Keep the faith and go Max. They called in more than Johnnie Moore. I hired a lot of people here recently. Thanks for all you do. Your favorite Michigan fan. Thank you for all your comments. Please tell Moon Goddess Mom hi. Hi, Moon Goddess Mom. Wigs can change hair overnight, but not root growth. As a blonde specialist, EK's roots were grown out, then freshly colored before the speech, then grown out again in the photo of Victor Marx. Just my observation. Well, we don't know when the photo was taken, so we might have something out of order. It could be roots grown out for Mark's photo, touched up for speech. But that's weird. Like, mourn, girl. We don't need a root touch up. CK was shown embalmed. One can conclude he was not cremated. Cremation usually occurs quickly. Well, usually. I wonder if any government or TPUSA plans ever to go where Lance Twiggs lives in Texas. Just thinking outside the box. Christ is king indeed. Funny you should ask. We might have evidence of that. Looking back at texts during Charlie's memorial with my daughter, we quickly went from I feel so sorry for her to I'm not being disrespectful, but something is off. Feels like she's acting and it feels wrong. Human instinct. Wow. That's good instinct. Because a lot of people did not feel that way that early. Hello, Lizzie. Thanks for checking in. I'm one of the widows from that night 3 months ago, and I just wanted to say again how beautiful this community is and how much I appreciate all of you. My heart is still broken, but I'm trying to help others as much as I can. It helps the hurt. Much love. Lizzie, thank you for checking in. You and Dara both have checked in today, and that means a lot. So thank you, and I appreciate your generosity. It's very, very kind. Very kind. I make pet bandanas with all Baron's Baronisms. Ask Nurse Casey how to get in touch with me. Same X username too. Oh, that ought to help. Yeah. Big fan. I stepped away from sewing sequins onto Erika's glitter pantsuit for this year's Amfest to be here. All that glitters is not gold. Thank you, Robert Plant. Christ is king indeed. Eyelash extensions are glued to real lashes and need to be repaired every 2 weeks as some fall off. EK's first employee Zoom meeting, she had no lashes nor makeup. Lashes have to be professionally removed. Oh. So, okay. Making a distinction between lashes and extensions. Baron, are you going to watch the trial tomorrow and throughout the week with Trigger Smart and everyone? Christ is king indeed. So it's not a trial. It's a preliminary hearing, and I do intend to have it streaming. I'm not going to, I don't think, join any of the commentariat. Though I've been offered by a couple channels to jump in at my leisure. But I don't know that I'll do that. I've got my own show to do tomorrow night, and if I have thoughts, I'll probably do it there. But yeah, I'll probably have it streaming. Jack H said he knew more info he wasn't willing to share at the time of his Facebook Live, 2:46 Mountain Standard Time, and confirmed he spoke to 2 people at the scene. Oh. Mikey and Butch, probably. Which Vans are you wearing for the Buckley interview? I can't wait for it to drop. Have fun. I don't know if I'll go solid black or if I'll do the brown leather Vans, or, the actually did have the gray suede with gum soles on the other day during my my member show with Cassia, and somebody asked about it and I showed them. So they were there. No Vans on right now. I'm just in socks, but I don't know what I'll do for the show. I'm looking forward to it, man. I could not be more excited. I just love this high IQ community. The poll you did on member show was like game night with the family. Oh yeah, that was a fun one. We'll do that again someday. That was fun. Aloha, Baron. Rushed out of church to join live. One of your top friends in Hawaii. Christ is king indeed. Well, we know where your priorities lie. Church. You were there first. You rushed out to join. I get it. And that's good. You got your priorities in order. But thank you. And welcome in. Meant hit in the chest. Bull hit the necklace and caused the neck wound. Christ is king indeed. I don't think that happened. I believe you frequently misuse the word misnomer. Oh, do I? Let me look it up. I don't want to misnomer. Incorrect or unsuitable name, label, or designation applied to a person, object, or concept. That's how I try to use it. I apologize if I am misusing it. Baron, according to the Libyan authorities, preacher Abu Hafs' real name is Benjamin Ephraim, a Mossad special unit agent with conduct espionage operations in Arab and Islamic countries. Not followed the Abu Hafs story closely, admittedly. Wouldn't put it past him. Candace loves gummy bears, per Shawn Ryan show. I noticed. She was the first person I've ever seen open them and start mowing down on them. And it was charming. Everyone else was like, oh, thanks, I'll get to these later. She was like, gummy bears? She was juggling them. It was great. Scotland here, and love your awesome reporting. And FYI, Gary, he's good. However, total doo-doo. Oh. Talking about Gary. Blue Angels flew over New York City yesterday with red, white, and blue smoke. And while it was pretty, all I could think was chemtrails. Christ is king indeed. Well, don't know if my last super chat sent. Can someone get TR's parents to release cell phone data to prove when they dropped TR off at police station? They probably could, I would think. If they need to. I don't give a damn. Charlie Kirk. July 2025 on the Tucker Carlson show. And I believe that all roads lead back to the intel agencies on all this stuff. Yeah, I heard that line and I thought, well, that's enough to get you taken out right there. I mean, Chuck Schumer said they had 6 ways from Sunday to take care of you. Thank you. Hi, Baron. Love you. Love you more, Sonny. Glad to make the live. When people say my B, do they mean my bad? Missed that part. Also, for mental illness and attacks, can you recommend scripture? No, I can't on that last one. I don't have that's not my forte. But I wish you luck, certainly. And we'll pray for you. So the my B thing is a joke. It goes back to Tyler's texts when he said, I'm going to be late, my B. And I was jokingly saying my B, like he was calling him his B instead of my bad. I do believe Road Mike exploded, but can't let go of the necklace pendant. I thought someone had said they had to pull necklace from his neck. Love you. Love you more. First, Danny. But I can't let go of the necklace either. You and I are akin on that. I am unwilling to let go of the necklace. Something caused that necklace to rapidly accelerate to his neck. We have to pay a license fee for our BBC service. Now government going after the tube. Scary times here. Christ is king indeed. Government going after it? I don't lose our London audience. Shelley Roxanne, class of 85. My dad was a supervisor at Crime Lab. Oh, that's where She Rocks comes from. So it is your name. Sorry, but I feel we're going to be in this war for 10 years, sadly. Oh, gosh, I hope not. I hope you're way wrong on that. B, find me a pic of VK without fake lashes since CK died. Well, I'm told the Zoom call is the first place you need to go. Aspen videos shouldn't slide. Remember, needed daily that TPUSA stage takeover. Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you, Jessica, for bringing that in. Diary of a CEO interviewed Vanessa Van Edwards, a body language expert, a year ago. How to spot a liar up talking. 108 Mark, Sarah Toole up talked too. All of Gen Z is cooked. Cooked. Thanks for everything, my B. Number one fan from Peoria, Illinois. I noticed Colvette is now denying the Beebster offer aspect of the call. It's been documented he lies for PR purposes, but I'm willing to bet evidence will come out proving him wrong. Too many would have had to know about the offer. All good points. 4 classic actors. Groucho, Harpo, Chico, and Victor. Oh, I don't think Victor does a very good job. Kelsey Fender beat everyone's rowing time from the other day. She did really well, and was good positive news to watch. Christ is king indeed. You wouldn't have to row very hard to beat my time. Let's see what she got here. Oh, she went from California to Hawaii? Dog. I thought you were talking like a 2K on a rowing machine. Do you think that if they got a pulse in the hospital and CK survived the whole incident with the broken neck, he would have been a paraplegic? Probably a quadriplegic, if I had to guess. If he truly had a broken neck. RFK Jr. ran independent 2024 as independent. Yeah, but he didn't campaign. He didn't make it to he quit. So I left him out on purpose. Baron, I meant if Goy meant cattle, then Exodus 19 would say holy cattle. In Genesis 12:2, great cattle, respecting Holy Scripture peace. Oh, I see what you're doing, Julie. So what you have to do is segregate the denotative use of the word with the connotative use of the word. And this happens quite frequently. Words often mean something in the dictionary and mean something quite different in common parlance. For example, go search that word and the IM suffix added to that word in the Einstein files of Jeffrey Einstein fame. You'll see how it's used in the connotative term. Google's jewels gifts must be one of the biggest scams ever. Baron gets 1%. At least a super chat is worth 70%. Some people can be sold anything. Lucky Scoops, anybody? We're now high IQ like TikTok. That's not what I was that's not what YouTube said when they sent us as a creator, they sent us here's what they mean. And that's not what they said. I think it was, I want to say it was 100%. But it wasn't 1%. Not sure if anyone has suggested it already, but after your story the other day, I would love a make do shirt. I found myself saying it now. Oh, that's a great idea. Make do. Nurse Casey, we need make do merch. Stat. I mean, I need it as fast as Brian Harpole jumping on a stretcher with scissors. Remember, Brigitte's series was about a year ago. My first thought, CK Death, was a warning to scare Candace into silence. I agree with previous commenter. Holy mackerel. I hope that's not true. My dear Baran, love you. I only wear Vans or flip-flops. Last week, I bought my son his first pair, dress Vans, for church and fancy functions. Christ is King indeed. Stay golden. P.S. I'm reading Screw Tape Letters and enjoying. Screw Tape Letters is phenomenal. Great book. Great book. And your son sounds like he's being raised very well. Error, he pulled out the gun from the beside him and he held it for a few minutes in front of a person who gets death threats every day. No idea what you're talking about. What if EK's social media was also handed over to AK? Perhaps he's playing all the parts in his screenplay. Is this the dark magnum opus? One wonders. Texas girl went to MTSU, heard you on Ian. Said we got ourselves a Middle Tennessee boy and was right. Released a song, Something's Wrong, Ode to Charlie on YouTube. This has all floored me day one. Wow, you've been around a while. You were right. Notice they also removed posters from Charlie's wall for her speech production. Why touch change anything in his studio? That really bothered me. Did they really? They did. They did take down the posters. I was unaware. But Baron, please say happy birthday to my 13-year-old Anya. We are your number 1 and number 2, Kirkwood, Pennsylvania, Lancaster County. We crack up at Blake Neff Speed and your reaction to realizing you didn't play the video. We never miss a show. Now, you've been around a long time because I don't make that mistake as often as I used to. Every now and then, pick its ugly head out, but I don't make it much. Happy birthday, Anya. That reminds me of what's the TV show? Arrested Development. Anyan. I don't know. That's a deep joke for those of you who are massive fans of that show, which I am, super fan. I went into my local steakhouse south of Fort Worth. Hostess said, welcome in, welcome in. I said, you must be a Bear Night. She said, how did you know? Wow. I hope she's watching. That's great. Welcome in, welcome in. 89 LeBaron. As a Seinfeld fan, has it ever occurred to you the magic bullet theory and how Ricochet is impossible angles came from the episode with Keith Hernandez and the spat with Newman? That is one magic loogie. I don't know. I'm not the only one who still speaks. Question. Christ is King. Wasn't Tyler's attorney listed one of your Google Trend searches way back when you first started covering Charlie Kirk? Yes. Catherine Nestor. She sure was. Trying your technique of praying for good things for people who I feel deliberately hurt me might be one of the hardest things I've tried to do. Do you have any tips or suggestions? Bible verse? No. The only way out is through. Do it every night. By name. And pray good things for them. Your heart will soften. My B, love the show. Can we get a George Z interview? George Z? George Zen? No, I can't interview him. He's in jail. I hope Shawn Ryan didn't ask Candace on just to set all this in motion. His reactions were odd, like he didn't follow the case and wanted her to embellish. I wouldn't think that. But maybe. I don't, can't rule anything out, but I don't think so. This all rocked my world. Something's wrong. Ode to Charlie. When the lifeboat we created to get us up Doo-Doo Creek has more holes than Who Shot Charlie Kirk, somehow we missed the leak. Roger that. Worked at a cemetery for 4 years. It's semi-common to have a funeral with casket and then cremate and interurn later. You could even get crematable display caskets. It's definitely weird, but not totally improbable. But would they have taken it out to the graveside? Like, that's the thing. Would they have run it out to where the grave was? The burial plot? EK is 100% evil. Number 1 fan from 100% evil? And I think someone else just claimed Peoria. Sorry, pal. You have to fight it out. Mikey, counting on you to be in the canned bar party. Oh, Mikey. I don't know. Can we appoint him to a position? Knowing what he knows. When my dad passed, we had calling hours and funeral and casket. After the funeral, they transported him to the crematorium. The name was created years ago on Google Games. My doctor turned me into the DMV because I had an asthma attack. Told me not to drive until I was cleared between cardio since I passed out. I believe you. I think it's terrible, but I don't know what I can do. I don't think Erika has the M ring until the funeral. Wonder if it was like in the shop or something. I don't care if I was the most important person in the world. If someone ever said, hey, let me video you over your dead husband's body, for whatever reason, fire would be coming out of my ears. Correct. No parties means people have to actually research. I've thought about that. Just get rid of all the party labels on the ballot. Everybody's in alphabetical order. Love TC, but his emotions cloud his judgment. Iran. Oh, we all fall victim to that. I wrote song for friends, wife getting C. Can you play it? I don't even know what that means. I don't play music. If that answers your question. In the recent Casket video, inside with pallbearers, it can't be at hospital. Multiple chairs stacked up, more like a funeral home. No evidence hospital. Yeah, that's correct. That's what we said. It was at the funeral home. King B, my first pod ever to be out tomorrow. Busted my booty for, I hope, 1.5 hours of all Marx. Bought gear, set up channel today. Well, alrighty then. Well, Jeremy, I hope it's a smashing success. A smashing success. I have a feeling the cover-up is about to hit the fan. I'll put every cent I have on you in the prego. Christ is not only king, he brings all darkness to light. Oh, indeed. You don't know the photo I have of Rick Cutler. I'm not talking about palm pistol pics. If it's a picture of something black in his hand, I have it. If there's a new picture of Rick Cutler, it would be all over X. There are some Rick Cutler groupies out there. I think I've seen them all. Autopsy be quick if paperwork done prior. Yeah, but it shouldn't have been done prior. Libertarian. Everyone has the right to sit on their porch with their married gay neighbors enjoying THC while cleaning their ARs. Subjective, mostly true, are libertarian even if they don't know it. I mean, that's most of the Republican and Democrat Party, though. Certainly most of the Republican Party. How about Sugar Labs and the OLPC Foundation out of MIT Media Lab in early 2000s, the birthplace of AGI? Was Erika's time in Romania related to the XO laptop? I have no idea what you're talking about. Like I understood the words, but I don't know what they mean in that order. I removed the mic and crawled out of the casket to watch RBP. Love you and Daisy. Keep digging. And go Max. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. I appreciate that. Please ask Dre to look into massive warehouse fire right now in Parkersburg. My community talks of data center coming. Well, you asked Dre. She's on X. She's on YouTube. Get at her. Baron, long-time listener, first-time caller, listening to you while writing my doctoral dissertation. Thank you for your hard work, getting back to believing. Christ is king with the help of your conviction. Well, thank you. Very kind. And good luck on that dissertation. I hope you smash it out of the park. Baronisms, they're in the shop getting tuned up. Her rings. Get in that casket, girl. I didn't even know I said that. Did I say that? Get in the casket, girl? Wow. Why would I have said such a thing? Oh, gosh. I got to stop talking. Carly Barley. I'm in upstate New York. Let's be friends. We are clearly both high IQ thinkers. I have no one to talk about any of this. Love you, B, team, and chat. The absolute best community. I hope you and Carly are able to connect. This needs to be saved for you, Baron. Bullseye minus I, bull. Oh, bull butter. You made a mathematical formula out of it. All of this is so poorly done. I'm starting to think maybe this was designed to reveal everything about our greatest ally. More complicated than anyone can realize. Victor Marx, maybe. Now, I don't think they intended for it to turn people against our greatest ally so hard, but it did. Man, did it. Going back to Egyptian planes. It seems like there were 3 people standing outside a plane on 9/10. One was one in black with blonde hair, very pixelated though. I think that was Erika, one of them. If that's what you're asking about. Domestic terrier. Oh. Well, dog. America created an anti-Masonic party before it created the Republican Party. Why is that history rarely discussed? I don't know. It must not have won many elections. I spider monkeyed off the roof with a 30-06 just in time to catch Baron live. I'm glad you landed safely, Nadine. Evil forces at play. EK face changes too much. Oh. Please send prayers for my mom. We lost my stepdad yesterday. Everyone is taking it really rough. Our lives have been forever changed, and moving forward will be hard. I don't know what we'll do without him. I will certainly pray for your family. Nope, nope. I didn't mean to laugh in a tough situation, but your name made me laugh. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that. Rick C. should let go of BH and let him fall out of the car. So he's got the tattoo. He's a brother. I put on every piece of jewelry I own to post this. You still don't have as much as she wears. YouTube wouldn't allow my super chat. Nonetheless, can't stop loving you, B. Oh, well, I can't stop loving you. I just can't stop loving you. Who's saying that? Oh, that's Michael Jackson. Bodies don't leave hospitals in caskets. Hospital to examiner, back to hospital. Casket, tarmac under 18 hours. No, I don't think it ever went back to the hospital. I don't know where that confusion's coming from. Climbed down off the roof like Spider-Man to watch this. No, you're not the only one. Nadine did it a moment ago. BH did this subconscious choking movement with his hands when describing how he was helping CK in the car on the Shawn Ryan show. Did not like it. Christ is king indeed. Maybe he was saying like he was putting stuff in his wound. I don't know. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. If there were cops at the event, why didn't they escort the vehicle transporting Charlie? Why were there instead reports of a vehicle with open door? They would have had to be in front of the car. They didn't leave in time. They had to like get to the cop car, and I don't know where their cop cars were parked. They weren't in the immediate vicinity of the SUV. Old myth connection between Shakespeare the Tempest and Psalm 46 Tempest story has plot to murder the king Alonso so Sebastian can claim the throne. Okay. I'll take your word for it. I accidentally finished and published my, not to be morbid, dead husband's book while watching this. I did cancel the book tour, though, so I could stay and finish the episode. Much love. Christ is king, indeed. I don't think she finished it. Boss B. Charlie Kirk hands were bruised. Look at the casket pic. Also was just saying EK got her hair done before speech. Yeah, I've noticed the hand thing for sure. We've talked about it. Terrell needs his shoes tested from the grass. I doubt they're still there. Doubt he still has them. I'm watching late, so please forgive me if you already mentioned it. Along with the obvious mic on Erika, she whispers, I love you. I think she was clearly trying to do multiple I love you takes to get the best sound bites. Oh. Like someone was like, louder, girl, louder. Do you think she had an earpiece in? And cut. All right, everybody. I would love to hear your take on excommunication of our SSPX brothers. They seem to be the conservative side of the Catholic Church. Christ is king indeed. I don't pay much attention to it. I wish I could help you, but you know, I told you one time I had some issues with the policy issue on the Catholic Church, and I asked my priest at the time, what should I do? How should I handle it? And he said, approach your faith like a 15th century French peasant. They just didn't care much about the political affairs going on. And I took his advice. And I'm much happier. Much happier. Fun fact. Taft was the heaviest president, fell through a ceiling in a bathtub, and loved skinny dipping in the Potomac. Genealogy is my obsession. Most early presidents are related to established families. Here a while, mostly Plantagenet descendants. Estimated 10% of the U.S. population. I've heard every U.S. president, including Barack Obama, is related to every other U.S. president in some sort of cousin fashion, even if it's like ninth cousin, 6 times removed, except for one, Martin Van Buren. EK Psalms equals RC the taste. That's what someone said in an earlier comment. I'll have to check into that. I get the neck wound was a mistake, but without it, there would be no wound. How would they have squared that? Also, who has the stuff in the SUV photos? Christ is king indeed. As to the last question, I don't know. I think the wound in the neck could potentially have been intended to cause a wound somewhere else. So there would have still been a wound. It just would have been located at a different spot. That's just my opinion. Hi, B. Is it just me or has anybody else noticed the flag in between Charlie Kirk show? Reminds me of the Einstein logo. Even the blue lights to match. That hasn't always been there, fairly new before 9/11, 9/10. No, I've never noticed that. I didn't know what you're talking about. The flag in between the Charlie Kirk. I don't even know what that means. Widow here, checking in. To all my widows, you all are strong. We are the trees that bend but do not break. Much love. Christ is king indeed. Lindsay, that is powerful. Thank you. I appreciate you supporting our fellow widows in the audience. Stop looking up verses regarding the widow to watch this. Also, I saw Helen Mirren wearing Vans in Thursday Muck Duck Club, and now I want some. Amazon has them. That's where I get mine. I usually get the ones that are like $40 to $50 because I'm a cheapskate. I can't help it. I got kids to feed. Hey, B, do you think, how do you think they transported Charlie in a van from the hospital? Find it odd the scandal that CK had sounds like it coincides with the story Candace just told on Shawn Ryan. Figure you love your show. Now, I'm pretty sure the scandal that Andrew Colvett was talking about, if that's what you're talking about, was one of his employees, longtime employee named Crystal, had allegedly sent some bawdy texts with allegedly racist, squarely on their face, racist overtones. Whether or not she meant them, I don't know. I can't get in her head. Doesn't sound like it, but they probably should never have been sent from a work phone, if we're being honest. But that's the scandal. I think that was the scandal he was having trouble with. Thank you. Love your comment, Diane Williamson. I want everyone to know that ISIS is an acronym for the. Well, that's not exactly true. Look it up. Prove me wrong. Love you, my B. Yeah. I don't. I mean, someone might have said that, but I don't think that's a stated real thing. Thank you for all you do and your wonderful team too. Christ is king. Indeed. Thank you. Thanks, B. Love you and Candace. Christ is king indeed, even over those who struggle to spell her name. I may frequently be late, especially Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm not on Tuesday, so that makes that easy. But we watch The Queen then every Bar BP show after IC mentioned your work. Thank to you, the family, and Daisy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Pic of EK and VM is photoshopped. Look like they just pasted the pic on that background. Amer fighter shirt on the left guy went out of style years ago. Well, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I wear old shirts. It could be anybody's shirt. Let me see if I can find that picture. Photoshop. I don't know. Is there a camera? What is that giant piece of equipment behind them? Maybe just out of style. Sig Sauer did a collab with TPUSA with a white freedom gun. Candace received a big Sig Sauer gift from Shawn Ryan. Definitely wouldn't support a company that is giving money to TPUSA behind the scenes. That's your call. Your call. I'm not big into like boycott culture. Word up, Newcastle, Indiana, in the house. I've been there. I've been to Newcastle. You know who's from Newcastle? Do you know? Steve Alford? Just saying. I quit laughing at emojis to watch this. That was a good one. That got me. My husband had no pulse for 45 minutes before EMTs got pulse back. He was brain dead. But did get pulse and was on life support for 1 week before I could get total confirmation he was brain dead and turn machine off. Christ is king indeed. But did he have substantial blood loss? And I don't mean to be morbid, but I am trying to draw a distinction just to see. I don't know how that works. Brandon, I stood outside overnight to get into CK Memorial. By the time EK said, I forgive him, I was nauseous. Realized the whole thing was fake. Thank goodness for people like you and Candace. You know, I had a very good friend who had tickets to Phoenix and a place to stay and tickets to the memorial and intended to go and then canceled at the last second because he was like, I'm getting a weird feeling about all this. That's a true story. Ron Paul is my president. You have many libertarians in the chat going Max. Oh, good. Baron. Joe Murr. Kodak family tied to Kimmel. Correct. Kimmel owns big property in Idaho. FYI, it's as if many of the folks in this network have access to compounds. Well, it's because they're rich. Because they're rich. The fact that all vids from 910 of CK have been slowed down and examined from every angle, and you never see a bullet, pretty much speaks for itself. Well, bullets fly very fast first, so that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't rule out a bullet for me. Other things might, but not that. Baron, what are your thoughts on they quietly building a nationwide surveillance grid through flock cameras? They couldn't have named it more honestly. The flock is being watched. I have strong thoughts on it, but what can you do about it? I stopped pressing women and making racist comments online under an alias to watch this high IQ outfit. Blake? Missing Biscuit is your alias? I had no idea. I went to a funeral. Casket was taken down to the cemetery where an urn with the ashes was removed and placed on the wall. It was late, and I didn't know he was cremated until they opened the casket. Well, I had no idea. I've never been to one like that. But yeah, I wonder why they didn't follow protocol. The presence of a casualty doesn't eliminate the need to react to the enemy. Christ is king indeed. I don't know what that means. Getting copyright and play for her, not on air. Okay. Duly noted. Justice is blind in the FBI too. Well, yeah, do we want justice to be blind? I may be crazy, but I still think MM and DF are worth saving. Don't let me down, boys. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Good song and good advice to Mikey McCoy and Dan Flood. Follow your heart. Your soul depends on it. Quincy MD would never have released the body. Well, it doesn't surprise me. They do things sharp up there. Hey, B, think you guys are overplaying Mikey. Believe he and Dan Flood. And then texting each other just before. Van's ultra range forever. Yeah, big van man. I don't know. I'm told Mikey has a conscience. Chance can do one poll on each of your lives. Fun. No, I'm not doing that. But I appreciate that. That's just too much to keep track of. Perhaps VP had to pick up CK to make the 12-hour hospital stint seem legit. Yeah, you're saying bring in the vice president so we have a time schedule and then maybe. Sorry, my first chat disappeared. I was talking about the flag logo they used on the Charlie Kirk show. Looks like an E, not a flag. Oh, I can find that easy. Let's see here. Go to images. I don't see an E. If we're being honest. I don't see an E. It's got 4 bars. I've never written an E with 4 bars, Tiffany. But thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're done here. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, probably closer to 5 if I had to guess. 4:30, 5 o'clock Central Daylight Time. It's nice when the principal's out and we can go a little earlier. It helps the sleep schedule. I get to see my kids a little more. Might get a glimpse of the grandbaby if all is well. And so I know that's an inconvenience to some of you who are used to this being a later evening show, but it is really nice. It's really nice. So I probably will take advantage of that, assuming the show's ready to go by then. We'll not be doing a member show Tuesday because I'll be filming with Clint Russell and Buckley Carlson for the Liberty Lockdown podcast that should air Wednesday. I'll need to talk to him about timing. I'll need him releasing it as I'm getting ready to go live. I want to watch it. And yeah, that's it. Like the show, subscribe, click notifications. Don't forget the Clips channel. Go buy merch, realbaronpodcast.com. But as you're doing all this, just remember, Jesus loves you. He does. He does. He does. He does. Even with all this dark stuff we cover, he does. He does. I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon, evening, morning, depending on where you are. It'll be afternoonish here for me. Hope you guys have a wonderful night, and we will chat soon.